Yo, yo. Gonna be hard to let go. This intro. Oh.
Did you do all of the editing? Like all of the...
I had someone design and animate the intro.
It's pretty fly, bro.
But I gave him the direction, so it's collaboration.
There you go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Cave. It's me, Joe Reezy, and I'm here with Elijah, a.k.a. Baba Obito. And before we get started, make sure you guys check out our sponsors at safelightcandle.com. If you need lighting for your home, your workspace, or your studio, why aren't you getting it at safelightcandle.com? Check it out. Also, if you want to enjoy exclusive content from The Cave, get access to our Discord community filled with crazy-ass people like you and me 24/7, and receive some free giveaways from the Cave Mart, then you probably want to check out the Patreon page. Link to that is on our website, k4v3.com. That's cave.com. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing fine, man. Just trying to take it slow and enjoy each moment, you know, live in the moment. A lot of shit's going crazy right now, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, man. So last time we spoke, we talked about the demiurge. We talked about Gnosticism. We got into a lot of spirituality. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about. But before that, we did leave off on you being a musician, man. How's that been going on?
It's been going, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I've been procrastinating a lot. I'm a very big procrastinator when it comes to certain things. But I just recently got all of this equipment, which is the reason I'm able to speak to you through the mic and stuff. I actually bought this to use for music and for podcasting. So
yeah.
I got this. I got my little MIDI controller. This shit's cool as fuck. I don't know what MIDI means yet, but that's what this is called. It's called a MIDI controller. It's pretty dope.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Like you can you can plug any sound into this shit and you can play it. Like I can just make a tone. Like I can be like, and then it'll be like, like I can fucking play. It's crazy. You can chop any sound and make beats and everything with it. It's crazy as fuck. I'm still learning how to do it. I'm a very beginner at the shit, bro. So I ain't gonna toot my own horn, but just know that there's definitely some homemade, homegrown music coming on the way.
Hell yeah, baby. You know what program are you using to run that shit?
I'm learning how to use Fruity Loops. I got the trial right now because I'm too broke to afford the actual whole thing, at least until I get paid anyway. And also I'm using the program Audacity to record my music, but that shit is ass, bro.
Okay. Yeah, Audacity.
I need to get Pro Tools, bro. I can't do this Audacity shit, bro. I can't stand it. But to make beats, Fruity Loops is fucking amazing. And there's this other software called Serato DJ or Serato Studio. And it's real good for like sampling beats if you want to sample a beat. Now, I don't really like sampling beats too much. Like maybe I might take a sound or something. But some people like sample their entire beats. Like they'll sample a drum line, sample a piano, like the whole thing is sampled, like nothing's organic. I can't do shit like that. But if you want to do like sampling, whether it's big or small, Serato is the way to go. Or if you're a DJ, then I recommend you try out Serato. It's amazing. You can download songs on there. You can remove the drums. You can remove the fucking hi-hats and everything, bro. Like add shit, reverb, it's crazy, bro. It's wild.
Yeah. I used to actually fuck with Serato, man, and I actually also use Fruity Loops. So we'll talk off air about hooking you up with Fruity Loops and this. I used to use Adobe Audition.
Where I heard about that. I heard about that one, and someone else told me. I think it was I forgot what it was called. It's this other one. It's something studio, but I forgot what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like Prime or some shit. I forgot what it was, man. But this is something different. Something that they said it was similar to Pro Tools. I had to figure out the name of it.
Yeah, Serato is more from my experience, it's more for like live performances because
exactly,
you kind of just do things on the fly, which is cool. But I say Fruity Loops is if you're trying to get into it, even if you try to get into it, like you might just be accustomed to the style of Fruity Loops, but it's easy to kind of, I think it's called quantize and time your shit into like programming in 808s type shit, so it's not sounding kind of offbeat. You know what I mean?
And the kicks on the Fruity Loops are automatically 808 kicks, and those kicks are fucking amazing. Like the kicks on, like you got a hella kicks on Serato, man, but the standard kick on Serato don't hit like the standard kick on the Fruity Loop for sure,
bro. So like, you know, messing with Fruity Loops, your drum loops get kind of more intricate and complex, right? Because you can kind of break up you can go 16 count to 32 count to 64 and just program little hi-hats and shit over there.
It's wild. You could turn a to a it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't do that on I don't think you can do it. I just haven't learned how to do it. I don't know how to chop them on Serato, but I know
what I was about to say, bro. It gives me more I give more respect to the DJs that can do that shit on Serato, because it's like, fuck, bro. I'm thinking like the 808 programming, so it's like fucking Guitar Hero where you're trying to hit those commands. You know what I mean?
It's exactly what it's like, bro. That's funny.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's dope. I think they sample the hi-hat rolling, and then so it sounds already like it's rolling when you hit it. So that's kind of how they get that effect when they do it live. Shit's dope,
I made a whole beat on Serato, man. It's a fly ass beat too. I mixed it on there and everything. Like, it's nice, but I like Fruity Loops though, because you can make the beat exactly the way you want. Like, you only have a specific amount of patterns that you're able to work with as far as drums and stuff like that on Serato. But Fruity Loops, if you want to, you can just do it just like that. And that's exactly what you're gonna hear. Versus if you go doom da doom da doom da doom on Serato, and then when it plays, it's like doom da doom doom da doom. Like, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, and depending what you're running it on, like if you have a laptop or like a subpar computer, your Serato timing is going to be off because it's going to have some latency, you know. So
man, that's what I think is going on with my Audacity thing. Because the thing is, bro, like with everyone else's laptop or computer, I try to record on Audacity, right? And it's cool, no delays, no nothing. But I try to record on my laptop, and I'll be in that bitch. I'll be getting it, man, going in, and then I'll play it back, and then I gotta move this over here, move that over there, and it's crazy, man.
I swear that sounded good when I was recording it.
I know, bro. It's wild, bro. It be blowing me.
It's funny, man. So what kind of artists are you into, man? What kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to a little bit of everything. It just depends on my mood. Like, if I want to be like carnal about my shit, then I like, you know, Gucci Mane, Paul Wall, Lil Wayne, Jid. He's like a recent rapper, you know, Earth Gang. A lot of the Dreamville rappers, bro. Like all of the artists up under J. Cole himself. There's this one artist, his name is Malz Monday, Malz Monday. That nigga's cold as fuck. There's so many others, like lo-fi, like listening to lo-fi. They got the lo-fi fruits. Them niggas is cool as hell. They got this little watermelon emoji looking.
Oh shit, yeah, I've been listening to them too. Yeah, them niggas they had the remake of songs, but in lo-fi, right?
Yeah, bro. They Gangsta's Paradise, bro. This shit's crazy as hell, bro. Steven Universe.
If you're listening to this and you haven't heard of lo-fi fruit, you're welcome, bro. Like,
for sure, bro.
They should charge for those fucking singles, bro. I would buy.
Bro,
that
I'm
shit.
telling you, man. Like, they really should. Like, hold on, I'll go through my playlist.
There's got to be a loophole for that, bro. Because like, if I heard my shit being lo-fi, I'd be like, yo, I better be getting a cut. You know?
They have to. There's no way. There's no fucking way. There's this other one. It's called Tom Dooley. He got one called Made Up Lo-Fi. That's a lo-fi artist. One Cap Kendrick's a good lo-fi artist. Clap Cotton. That nigga's cold. Look, y'all check out Clap Cotton Back Home Lo-Fi. Crazy.
Are those with C's or K's?
Back
Q's.
Home. Oh, I don't know.
That'd be funny.
Fucking Fluorescence.
I'm gonna with some Q's.
Fluorescence by Blue Wednesday. Blue Wednesday is another lo-fi artist. Fire, bro. I like reggae. Yeah. When I listen to reggae, I'm listening to Sizzla, Capleton, Buju Fantan. Let me see. Because I got all different type of playlists. This is my playlist. I call it the I and I playlist because the Rastafarians have this saying called I and I, where it's like, who's I and I? Is I is me, and I and I God and I man.
Hell yeah!
It's unification of man and God. But
yeah, my library of reggae music's pretty Limited. I have fucking.
I've been building it over the past 3 years.
I fucks with Damian Marley. Damian Marley's one of my favorites.
Damian Marley's the fucking GOAT.
All right, I thought so. We're gonna talk about the GOAT. That term, the GOAT, because we're gonna talk about the GOAT.
Oh, that's a very interesting topic to talk about too, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I think you catch my drift already, bro. That's why I wanted to get you back on.
Hell yeah, man.
What do you think about the conscious rappers that try to kind of rap about like this shit, like the spirituality stuff? I know one thing that comes to mind is Absol, but I don't know.
Absol, I like him. I like him.
Yeah.
He's a lot more articulate with his shit, man. Like he did this one recent song called "Do Better," where
dude, love that shit.
That shit is really good. It's really good. Mm-hmm. It's a lot better. It's a lot better than when he was trying to do it last time. Like when he was coming out, you can tell when he was coming out, he was in the stages of learning, but he was still in the middle of his carnal ways. But you can tell now that he's actually really trying to like fix his shit. I feel like people would do well to watch him from the beginning until right now. I feel like they would do good to see that transition for sure. Yeah. But a lot of the other modern rappers, like the modern conscious rappers, I wish they were a lot more doper, and I wish they would be a lot more brave when they speak, because the whole point of being that aware of things is to speak out, and you understand the risk of holding that knowledge. So I feel like certain people, they limit themselves, man, and they don't want to talk about certain things because they're afraid of losing what they built. But that's like counterproductive, because that defeats the whole purpose of even obtaining and making it that far to know all that. That's my personal perspective anyway. I can't really speak for everybody else. Everybody has their own thing.
Yeah, you know what? I'll speak from my perspective too, because first of all, Absol was one of my favorites too. Like I fucked with Absol from the get-go. So seeing him evolve kind of back into his essence was cool to see. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Do better was cool. It'd be like that, I think. Mm-hmm. Just I don't know. That's poetry to me, when you can say the same words and tweak certain, you know what I mean, parts of the verse, and it just sounds different because the chorus kind of makes you look at it from a different vantage point. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was rapping about DMT. He was rapping about Anunnakis. He really was into Aleister Crowley and that do what thou wilt. Kind of, you know what I mean? Way of life or theology. And I don't know, to me, I know first of all, he had Stephen Johnson syndrome, which kind of puts a more mythical aura around him because he wears the shades at night, and it's not to look cool. It's because his fucking eyes are kind of burned internally, you know? He had a significant other that passed away. Is it Lori Joan?
I have no idea the name.
Or Lori Joan, I believe. They have a dope ass song together. But it's almost like, to me, if I want to speculate, it seems like he got too close to the fire. Something happened, and he kind of like, you know what I mean?
It'd be like
he either limited his bread or he got like a warning shot. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be like that. The warning shots be the ones that wake people up the most. I even got a warning shot myself one time. I got too close. Started going way too deep, and it was like, "Hey, bro, look, hold the fuck up." And I'm like, "All right, bro, my bad." Shit, I just wanted to know. So now I know. Cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, you're right though, because I feel like if you're a conscious rapper or a rebel rapper, you know what I mean? I feel like, especially now or the past few years was the time to come out with a hard-hitting poem album or a song that just kind of gets people together. J. Cole did some songs that got some people together in that aspect or in that light, right? But Absol, where are you at, bro? You know, I know everyone's
just fell off the face of the earth.
That's what I'm saying.
Came out of
I know everyone's got their lives, bro, but you got to know who you are. You know, you can't lead and start a movement and then not show up when it's time to fight. I feel like, but who am I to fucking speculate and judge? I'm just me. What about Kid Cudi, man? What do you think about Kid Cudi?
Yo, my nigga, man.
We also did a deep dive on Diddy, so he's also connected to
Damn. Yo, my nigga is down bad, bro.
Oh,
like,
man.
I guess he's doing his thing, bro. But damn, like all I know is I heard Day and Night. I heard a couple other good hits. You know what I mean? And then after that, never heard nothing from him. And then he just came out of nowhere. Like, and he just had a boyfriend. He was wearing a dress and he was doing all this stuff. And it's like, cool, but how? What's going on? And then Diddy, everybody's been snitching on Diddy for like thousands of years. But my nigga, I don't know why everybody just now deciding to fucking like investigate this man, bro. This motherfucker has been in question for fucking millennia, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that shit blows me, bro. They getting him. They trying to get.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that, bro? What do you mean by that? I'm just kidding.
Like, yeah, that's hilarious. They trying to get Chris Brown. They trying to get all these people, bro. Like but the reason that's going on is because of the transition that's happening for the third dimension. So the third dimension is being gifted with a little bit more peace and a little bit more order and structure. It's not going to come without chaos or whatever, man. But, you know, all the rulers of the world and all the idols of the world, they're finally being exposed for who they truly are. Everyone that's not supposed to be on quote unquote new earth they're not going to be here. They're either not going to be here, they're going to die, or they're going to be humbled, I guess you could call it. They're going to be dethroned, and their glory will be given to whoever else it belongs to or whatever.
What's interesting about that is you kind of see it. Everyone, the elites are kind of, I feel like
they're falling.
Hunkering down. They're hunkering down and go, you know, they're prepping. You're hearing underground bunkers. And I think recently a lot of people are selling stocks.
They're selling money. They selling their money. Yeah. They giving their money away. They don't even care about that shit. These niggas just trying to be alive. while we out here fighting for the dollar and going out here doing whatever we do for our dollar or whatever, they're just like, man, fuck the dollars, fuck the cars, fuck this, fuck that, nigga. We going on the ground. Like, they don't care. They're preparing for a whole nother type of lifestyle.
It's fucking it's alarming, you know. I feel like, again, I hate the term conspiracy theorist, but it's hard not to think that way now, you know, and start speculating and kind of wanting to put the puzzle pieces together. Yeah,
that's the term that they use for people like us, bro. So I mean, fuck it, conspiracy. It is what it is. It goes against what our society thinks. It challenges, you know, indoctrination. It challenges the natural law. So naturally, it's going to be conspiracy. Whether we can prove it's true or not, the government didn't say it was true. So the scientists didn't say it was true. So it's always. I
don't think. See, the reason I vibe with you is I feel like we're not conspiracy theorists. We're just like into spirituality, you know, and spirituality.
Exactly. That's how I feel, but that's what they call me. So
yeah, it's like it's a box that we kind of fit in, but I don't really fit in this box. You know what I mean? Because spirituality, in its essence, it's kind of like science, to where you try to disprove things. And you know, you kind of have faith in the process of finding out, you know, and that's kind of what the faith is. It's not like some kind of blind faith, although I do think faith is some kind of superpower where you kind of manifest and you harness your power, and you know, you kind of reawaken to what you have. Like free will and faith go hand in hand, I think.
They do.
You know what I mean? Like
faith is literally like the combining of your free will and the will of what we will call God or source energy, you know, stuff like that. That's what that is. That's what faith is. You truly believe you got this. You understand the connection between you and divine and all that. You understand. That's what true faith is. Most people don't have it. Some people are too scientific. Some people are too spiritual.
Right. And you hold on to the truth, and like you try to tell people that, hey, you know, Christmas isn't really about Santa Claus, bro. You know what I mean? And first of all, Santa Claus is based on Saint Nicholas, man, and you should really look into Saint Nicholas because he's not who you think he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And that alone makes you a conspiracy theorist. You know, it makes you crazy. And so, like, I feel like it's kind of. I always say if Jesus was alive or Yeshua was alive, he would be labeled as a conspiracy theorist as well.
Definitely. You know? That's what they was calling the nigga when he was doing his thing. They was like, yo, don't listen to this man. He wilding. He got y'all under his spell. Like, they was calling this man a witch. They was calling him all type of shit.
Right. And then, you know, the same people that were calling him a conspiracy theorist say you have to come, you know, to our churches now to find out the truth.
That shit is weird, man.
To bring light, like, I don't know. I feel like there's a fine line between deep spirituality and conspiracy theorists. But I feel like conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorists is a gateway into deep spirituality. You know what I mean? It's like when you wake up kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. But just to get off the music stuff, something that ties music and spirituality. Well, there's a lot of spirituality and music tie-ins, but I recently heard on TikTok, and I did some research, and it was kind of vague. And I started doing some thinking about it, but I heard that whistling actually attracts the devil. Is there any truth to that you know of?
I've heard it 2 times in my life, but I haven't necessarily done any actual research. I only really thought about it, and it only made logical sense. Just thinking about it, you can understand what it means. But there's a native tradition that believes that you should not whistle at night because you'll attract the enemy, whether the enemy whether it be physical or spiritual. I don't remember exactly what tribe I heard it from, but I remember hearing that when I was young. And there was another time where I was invited into one of my friends' homes, and his mother was a magical person. And she also, like, one day I whistled in her home because that's why I do that just naturally, bro. I just like to whistle. And I whistled and she got angry. She was like, "Don't whistle in my house. Don't do that." And I'm like, "Yo, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that?" It was like,
you saw that her look at her eyes were different.
Yeah, bro. Like she was really like, looked like she was about to hit me in my shit. And I was like, "Yo, what's going on with her?" And he was like, "Well, she believes that whistling is bad luck, you know." And then they gave me the whole history behind it, and I was like, "That don't make sense." I was like, because how can y'all say that? That I can't understand that, because one of our ancestors, one of his main things is the whistle. So how can we hear that as an omen and think that's bad? Is this nigga bad? Like, what's going on with that? I don't know nothing about that, but I think that the devil, or whatever you want to call it, the way they put it in the Bible or in any of the other things, he's definitely like the master of music. And most of the instruments that you would hear of, like, spirits like that, like Pan or any of those other type of demonic entities or whatever, like they'll use like flutes, they'll use like they use shit.
Oh,
like
shit,
that.
bro! What are you doing?
You know what I'm saying? So
like I don't know what that shit's called. A Peter Pan. Damn, now that you mention it, Peter Pan had that little fucking thing. You know what I mean?
That's what he was. That's who he was after. That's what they modeled that after.
What the?
That was a subliminal thing. Like, Pan was always after certain children, because this is the thing that people always overlook. Like, these creatures from the books and the stories that be like trying to bribe the kids. "Hey, little kids, come with us. We have this world of paradise. Here, eat this. Here, take that. You'll be young forever. You blah blah blah." They know what they're doing. These, like, think of the Path's Labyrinth, or Pan's Labyrinth, or some shit.
Labyrinth.
Some shit on fucking Netflix, right? So he found a little girl, right? And whole time he's trying to convince this girl that she's, like, I don't know, like some superhero, some chosen one, but he never tells her what she's chosen for. And she keeps finding hints. But the whole time he's teaching her this, he's teaching her that, he's inviting her into this world, he's teaching her the secrets of how to get between the spiritual world and the whatever. But the whole time what he's trying to do is that he's trying to create a vessel that he can have a child with. That's what these things do. That's what that Peter Pan shit is. That's why that whole land is full of kids. And that's why you can't never find none of the adults.
Yeah, that's why it's the Lost Boys. You know what I think about? I think it was Hereditary, that movie. I don't know if it was Pan, but on a side note, I just looked him up. So let me throw this shit up, bro. And it brings it back. And I feel like we're gonna go back to this symbol of the goat, but Pan was a goat-like god, right? Is a god of the wild, shepherds and flocks, rustic music, Look at him right here with that little whistle shit.
Yeah, man.
Play the pan flute. It's called pan flute. Oh god.
Yeah, the pan flute. Yep.
So my connection of the devil or demons and the whistle was the fact that, you know, you hear snake charmers and you can arouse the snake with the whistle, you know,
with the flute, bro, with the whistle,
or with
bro,
the flute. I mean, yeah,
exactly, bro. It's attractive. It's just because the serpent is attracted to vibration, and instruments like the fruit. I'm not the fruit. I'm tripping. Like the flute or anything of that nature, any type of wind or brass, any type of blowing instrument, any type of thing that can give you a ooh, like it vibrates, man. Like tuning forks and stuff like that. Snakes are very sensitive to vibration, so it attracts the serpent for sure. I can attest to that.
That also reminded me of the Kundalini, kind of, right? Because it's kind of like a snake. So I was thinking maybe it was just kind of interpreted by the Christians as pagan Kundalini stuff. Serpent, tagged it on there. It's evil.
I think that's funny that they say that because
but what brings
the same system.
My bad. Go ahead.
They use the same musical system, bro. The Christians, like when they when they chant and stuff, they use the exact same system. They're just not singing to a snake.
Bro, and I would also add on and say they're using the same cadence in their worship songs, but they're just changing the words. They are right. They are.
Yeah. That's exactly right. That's crazy. You said that. Like I always do research on shit like that, man, and I found so many connections on how they do stuff like that. The only thing that they took away is the drums, but the cadence and the melodies. When you start going back and you start looking back at the Amharic music and the Ethiopian music, and you start comparing it to the Asian music, and then you start comparing it to the Arab music, comparing it to the Jewish music, and you start comparing all that to the music now, and you start seeing the connections, bro. You start seeing that shit. All they did was they took this and they, like you said, they reversed it. They put a new language on it, but it's the same vibration. Even the Gregorian chants, they figured out the mathematics of sound, because all sound is math. If you take these two sounds and you place them together, they have a specific effect. Like it's always like that. And for them, when they found that out, they just started going like they would do that, but then they would kill these niggas for doing the exact same thing. But the only difference, these niggas ain't doing it around the fire, bro. They're just standing there doing it, cultivating it. But the reason they have to stand there and focus so hard to cultivate is because it ain't in there. Why do you have to invoke a spirit? It's supposed to already be inside of your ass.
That's interesting, because that's their way of rewriting history. Like I said in the previous podcast, before written history was passed down either through cave paintings or, you know, spoken in song, parables. So if you take someone's song and you change the words up, then you kill them off. You know, it's almost like, hey, that shit works. That
exactly, like you're taking the
resonance
same power.
Magic, resonance science works. You know what I mean? Let's try to add our shit into it, hijack it.
Spiritual plagiarism. It's plagiarism.
Hey, I like that. I like that. But another thing that kind of brings into this is crazy, because we started out with music and then, you know, making music and into this. Yo, music. You know, music is math when you fucking go on Fruity Loops and you just program shit. Everything is just numbers. You know
like a video game, bro.
Straight up.
Arcade game. That's exactly how I feel. Like I'm just playing a fucking old ass Atari game or something.
It looks like an abacus, you know, that fucking shit you used to count, that ancient tool you used to count.
And then you can see the waves. You can see the different waves and everything of the sounds and everything like that. You can chop them, you can turn them, you can move them. Like everything is math, bro. Everything is math. Cooking is math. This flavor plus this flavor equals that flavor.
Man, so before we get into the deep shit that we talked about getting into, there's more to unpack here, because I did also go down this rabbit hole of music and how, you know, ancient music was compared to modern music, and a lot of modern music's electronic now, you know.
It's not organic at all.
Back then, organically, it was more about pushing air. That's kind of where the sound came from, right? And pushing air, I think I had a conversation with my cousin. The most primitive form of making music, besides the drums and your voice, you know, they came up with the flute. And what is that? Pushing air. So
You're right
There
about
must have,
that. They had a lot of big ceramics and things like that they would use that can make certain sounds. Like it'll push the wind, and when the wind would go in, it'll be like a ooh, ooh.
yep.
And it would let them know what like which direction the wind was blowing, all different type of shit. So that's interesting.
Like I said before, like the organs, right? Like organs in cathedrals, that shit was just like a huge pan flute. I feel like.
Yeah, man, that shit is interesting, bro. Oh, I never
So
seen one of them in real life, but when I used to look at that shit in the damn movies, bro, I'm like, yo, that shit is crazy.
I
And
always joke, bro. That's like some
the
boss
vampires
music,
always
right?
playing some shit. Yeah, bro. It's always an old creepy ass nigga playing that motherfucker, bro.
It's like Ganondorf and shit. But as far as what do you call it, spiritual plagiarism?
Yes.
I did go down this rabbit hole of Thanksgiving during a Thanksgiving episode, and I uncovered Sarah Josepha Hale. She was like the main chick that really campaigned to get Thanksgiving to be what it is, you know? I mean, it's evolved in meaning, but to get it to be like standard and have this push, like she even went to Abraham Lincoln to have Abraham Lincoln be like, all right, yo, this is going to be a holiday.
Oh, wow.
She had journals of the actual like pilgrims and the Native Americans, and so she knew exactly what they ate, and it wasn't turkey, mashed potatoes, and all that. But despite that,
doubt it. There's definitely
despite that,
corn involved,
bro. Despite that knowledge, you know, she made it a custom and a staple to have turkey, mashed potatoes, and the traditional Thanksgiving. But anyways,
that's that bullshit. That's that weird shit, man. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
you did mention that. You did mention they conquered a group of people with sugar, so that's already one aspect of that.
Bro.
Carbs turns into sugar, right?
That's exactly
or gets processed as sugar.
The Aboriginals.
But what's crazy, dog, is before this, she was a poet. She was a writer. And what she would do is she would take songs. It didn't really specify where she got them from, but she would remix them with this guy named, I think it was James Mason. James Mason would come up with the tunes. She would change up the words. And what they would do is they would change up the words to have them be kind of like nursery rhymes to push like this Christian agenda.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
I think I might know who you're talking about. That's wild. I've heard somebody do that before, man. That's funny as shit.
Yeah, she's really known for fucking Mary Had a Little Lamb. And if you look at Mary Had a Little Lamb, it's a fucking multi-layered song because what is it about?
Whoa, you just did something, bro. I ain't know nothing about that.
What is it about? Mary Had a Little Lamb. Apparently it's about, you know, this lamb following Mary, and Mary was kind of socially awkward. So this lamb following her kind of gave her some sense of confidence, you know? So Mary had a little lamb. But maybe they're talking about Jesus and Mary because it's funny how that stencil fits that too, Jesus, right?
Oh God, get out of here, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
That's
look,
wild, bro.
Yeah, she's responsible for Thanksgiving.
I'm never going to hear that song again for the rest of my life.
It's eerie, the rest of my
life, it's good. The rest of my life, that song's going to be dedicated to Jesus, bro. There ain't no way. That's funny. And they say that Jesus' hair was white. It was white. It was white. It was like wool.
Yeah.
And wool is white like snow. So.
Mm-hmm. And that cadence of
man, that's crazy. Get out of here.
That cadence of dun 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 dun, like you can. That sounds like every other song. You know what I mean? I mean, I can't think off at the top, but it's a pretty common sample, I would say. You know,
definitely so.
So, spiritual plagiarism. That's dope. We gotta get that on a shirt, bro.
Yeah, man. That'll fucking sell for sure.
Yeah, and I think now more than ever, it's really obvious that music and Satanism are pretty tied in with each other. You're seeing this.
They're not even hot at that shit no more. They don't even care.
Granted, they're doing it for clout, right? Like, I feel like some people are just kind of doing it to be like, well, speculate, you know, have the conspiracy theorists talk about it. Sure, but, you know, some people aren't, bro. You know what I mean?
Some of them niggas is dead ass. Like, they really serious about that shit. That shit is something else.
You did talk about Sigils, and it gets into sex magic and gets into the Succubus, and we'll get into that. But I also feel like, and you know, as making music, when we see the wave patterns, it's an advanced form of a sigil music.
It is. It is literally.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. Like back in the day, like before sigils and things like that, you know, they had the Odu Ifa, they had the mandalas, and the mandalas, some of them, and maybe you might be able to help me show them some images, but
yeah,
the mandalas that they would use was literally forms of sound. Even if you look at it was a physical representation, a physical illustration of the sound of those mantras that they were chanting. So when they were building their temples, even their columns were sculpted and shaped after the wave sounds. It's fucking crazy. It's wicked. And like I didn't make that connection. I saw somebody else talk about that shit, and I started doing my own research, and I'm like, yo. And like one thing that I've always been interested in, that I always want people to take a look at, is cymatics. And it is the ability to take any sound in the world and see it as an illustration. Like you can take it, like put some salt on like a metal table and play a violin thing, or do anything you can do to create a sound and make it vibrate. And then the particles of sand, they will take the form of the vibration, like that vibration. They're gonna trace that vibration, and you'll be able to see the sound that's gonna be left on the table. That's how they was doing that shit. Well, I don't know if that right there specific method is how they were doing it, because they had some wild advanced shit going on back then. But it's a lot. That's what sigils are. Sigils are sounds. Sigils are vibration. That's what that is, for sure.
You know what's interesting, bro, is because back then, I mean, songs and singing isn't a new thing. It's recording it is what's new, you know, and the kind of frequency that it's delivered. You know, sometimes now a lot of people have Bluetooth speakers. You know, sometimes now they have Bluetooth headphones. So it's interesting because back then, like we said, you got to be in the know in order to know the songs, the original songs, you know. And some would even say that these songs can, if said right in the native tongue, can move objects, right? Can open doors, right?
That's correct.
Or make shit levitate, and you'll see the bridge to get to wherever the fuck you're trying to go type shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I made this joke before, like, first of all, we talked about Jesus not even being his real name, and it's Yeshua. And if you translate that, Jesus kind of comes out of nowhere. But why did people do that? I raised the question, maybe they did that so fucking people don't say God's real name. And if everybody knows God's real name, you'll have people just flying everywhere.
Yeah. They definitely did that shit so they could try to attempt to take away the power, but it don't take away the power at all. It doesn't matter if when you're really truly fighting like a real quote unquote demon, because the understanding of angel and demon is very, very, very broad. You feel what I mean? There's certain things that people think are angels that are demons, certain things people think are demons that are angels. But when you're fighting an actual evil entity, one that really truly is real, these entities, these spirits, I don't care what anyone is talking about. I don't care how woke anyone thinks they are, how much they think they know. I can tell you from experience, bro. Any evil spirit in this world can and will not touch you if you call that name. And not only if you call that name, but if you believe in what that name can do. And I know that for a fact. This is coming from somebody. I got the eye of Horus tattooed on my face. I have the eye of Providence tattooed on my chest. This is somebody who, like, come on, bro. This is somebody who's on the whole other side of things, bro. But I'm telling you, one time I went through some sleep paralysis, or however you say that word. I'm very bad at that word. But I was in a hotel a couple years ago, and I was laying there, and I was experimenting with some things, right? And I ended up getting attacked by this long, tall, lengthy ass, ugly ass looking thing.
Bro,
motherfucker. Yo, that motherfucker jumped on top of me, bro. Started choking my ass, dog. I was scared, bro. I was like, yo, what the fuck? I couldn't believe what was happening to me, bro. I was like,
God damn it.
So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I've never experienced nothing like this, bro. This is different. Like I done been through all different types of realms, bro. I done seen all type of creatures and shit, and ain't nothing ever had the nerve to touch me, bro. So like, I was in that whole God complex. So I'm thinking I couldn't be touched, and then boom, this motherfucker, wow, got his hands around my throat, and like he can touch me, but I can't touch him. That's the fucking scariest part about it. I couldn't grab him, but I could feel this nigga. I was like, that's a whole nother level of power. Anyway, whatever. So in my mind, you know, I had been going to church and everything like that. I had just been through some crazy ass shit, bro, and it had changed my whole life. I started like really believing. That's what really made me dive. I just ended up diving in the wrong parts, but whatever. So I go in and I'm just sitting there getting choked. And then there's this thing that's like, call Jesus' name, call Jesus' name. And my ego's like, man, fuck that, bro. I ain't calling Jesus' name, bro. Hell nah. I was like, what the fuck is Jesus gonna do right now, nigga? This is crazy.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck it. So I was like, and bro, before I could even finish saying this nigga name, it's like as soon as I thought that name and I had it in my heart and my soul that Jesus was about to do something on my bro, on everything I love, bro. This thing jumped off of me and ran far away from me in the corner of the wall. And he just kept looking at me like, man, damn. Like, that's how he was looking at me. Like, he was looking at me like
that's interesting.
Like walking back and forth, like, you know how a motherfucker trying to get you, but they know they can't get you. Like they know
like you had some kryptonite type shit.
Yeah, like he knew he could do something, but he knew that if he did something, something was gonna happen to him. That's how he was looking at me. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. And then the second time it happened to me, I was laying on my stomach and I had just got done arguing with one of my exes. We ended up going back, laying down on the bed or whatever. I'm laying on my stomach and then something jumps on my back. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? I can't breathe. I can't fucking breathe. So I'm like, all right, bro, let's try this Jesus shit again. I've tried to call all the other names. I'm like, hey, yo, Buddha, what's up? Hey, yo, hey, yo, Shiva, hey, yo, blah, blah, blah. Hey, in the power of blah, blah, nothing. And then as soon as I said, Jesus, bro, I'm telling you, I don't never get to finish saying the name, bro. I'd be like, geez. And that motherfucker jumped off my back and tried to take me into a dream and tried to fool me in there. And the only reason that they couldn't fool me was because I had read a book about the book that Aleister Crowley wrote, actually. Not funny that we spoke about that nigga. And he spoke to me about one of these demons that gave an exorcist the power to be able to control and make it sound like there's water happening and there's no water. And that's what was happening in the dream. It was raining in the house, but that's not logical. So that was the only way that I was able to beat that shit. And then I got out of that dream by being able to open my front door in the dream, walk out of the door and be able to go in my body.
Shit.
That shit was crazy, bro. That shit. So it don't matter. It doesn't matter what his name is, bro. The vibration of the quote unquote Messiah, the vibration of the Christ energy is real. And if you believe in that and you have faith in that, it doesn't matter whether you choose to be a Christian or not. You don't have to be a Christian to believe in Christ. That's first and foremost. That's first and foremost. But if you believe in that power, I promise you, bro, once you truly understand, when these evil spirits, they don't even have to be evil. There's some spirits out here that they just not with God, but they don't have no harm towards humans. They just don't like God. But even them, all these other spirits, they will not try to talk to you. They will not ask you no questions. They will not try to fool you. They will not try to convince you nothing the moment that they know that you know that. Because that's the biggest thing in this world that people that the enemy tries to do, is to try to confuse everyone about the mediator by changing the name and changing this and changing that. They're trying to destroy the fact that there is a such thing as mediation between man and God, because that's what the Christ energy was a representation of, is the connection between man and God. That's what they're trying to destroy. They want people to believe that they are God and that they are this and that they are that. And they are to an extent, but to convince someone that they are the creator is very dangerous. Very fucking dangerous.
It's interesting because there's a lot to unpack. First of all, I will say during Christmas, I was doing a deep dive on Christmas being satanic and how Saint Nicholas was actually an exorcist, and he was, it was who are the two archetypes of Christmas besides Jesus, right? It's Saint Nicholas, Santa Claus, and Rudolph and the reindeers, right?
Yep.
And we went down this rabbit hole of Rudolph being either gay or androgynous, because reindeers lose their antlers around like fall or winter time. So when you see Rudolph with antlers, like I'm talking about male reindeers, they're supposed to lose their antlers.
Mm-hmm.
When you see Rudolph in the winter time with antlers, that should be a female, you know what I mean, reindeer, but its name is Rudolph. So is it gay or is it androgynous? And then I started to put together Krampus, and he looked like a goat being too. And Krampus, I was like, you know what? Wow, bro. Goat being androgynous, it sounds like Baphomet, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It do though. It do.
And then I looked into St. Nicholas, and St. Nicholas was tied into the Templars. And so the Templars were really obsessed with Baphomet. And I didn't know that. Yeah, it was kind of linked into that. But anyways, I was doing some deep dives onto that. And my wife actually said that she saw like this dark, tall figure behind me over here and like try to run up on me. At first I was like kind of scared, but at the same time, I'm like, man, fuck that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's only as powerful
as you allow it to be,
as I allow it to be. If I think about it more, if I, you know what I mean, put my concentration and my focus into it, then it'll grow. But if I'm choosing to be like, fuck that, because it's also like, no matter how powerful Jesus, if you don't believe Jesus, then, that power is inaccessible to you. So that's how,
that's another thing that those spirits know too. They'll laugh
your
at
free
you.
Will, your free will and your faith is. Yeah.
They'll be like, what you said? Who you calling? You don't even believe in that nigga. Get the fuck out of here. Like, they'll clown you. And even if you do believe in Jesus, they'll test you. That's what they're here for. They will do that.
For sure.
They'd be like, what you say? In the name of who? Get the fuck out of here. You don't believe in him. You used to do this. You used to do that. They'll fuck with you, bro. Like that, the way that they do it in the movies, 10 times more petty in real life. Like they're like fucking like toxic women. That's how demons be acting, like a toxic ass woman, bro. It's weird. You know how they be getting up under your skin, bro, like saying that little shit. That's how the demons be, bro. God.
You know what's crazy, bro? Because you said, well, we talked about somatics, we talked about sound, and I feel like somatics was the first way to record sound. Like, oh, see, like, if I say different things or I play this, it affects sand, and it affects water. And so it made those patterns. And yeah, exactly, like you said, right. These are the patterns that it makes. And if you realize if you recognize these patterns are the patterns in cathedrals. They're the stained glass in cathedrals. They're the floor patterns too. Some carpets have these patterns in there.
That's exactly right. Like you look at that shit, it looks like the stained windows, because those sounds that they're making, that is the physical representations of the chants and the Gregorian chants that they would use to summon the spirit of God or whatever they was worshiping any fucking way. And even like, you have to think about that shit. Like they give you signs and stuff that something ain't right, because in games like Resident Evil and like stuff like that, they'll show you how these new people came into this civilization. They took over the bodies of this new race or whatever. And then you always got this, like in Resident Evil 4, you got this one priest where he comes and he invites this alien species or whatever into this planet or whatever the fuck, or however the fuck it is, took advantage of this parasite, and he uses that parasite to control everybody. And they're worshiping that. Like that shit is heavy, bro. It's real deep. It's real fucking deep, bro. Like they use that sound. They use that sound to summon this, that, and the third. And they got it to the point where they can do that so that nobody has to see what's really going on. Because if they can just see the sounds, then they don't have to worry about everything else. They can still be influenced without having to be seeing anything else. If they see the actual image, then fear will get in the way. Misunderstanding will get in the way. Other things of that nature will get in the way. So they just show you the sound. They show you the picture. They show you this. They show you that. Up until the point now, they just show you a book with words. No pictures, no illustrations, nothing. Straight letters. Take you away from everything else in the world. That can be a good
Yeah.
thing or a bad thing, depending on who you are and what you think.
What's crazy as fuck too is these patterns right here. This isn't a pattern that's like sustained for long term. This pattern happens when you speak one word. So like, hey, you create a certain
Yes,
pattern. You know what I
exactly.
mean? So when it comes to like the word of God being powerful, like it's probably making some intricate pattern like this. You know what I mean? And in turn, it kind of affects whatever universe or whatever, you know what I mean, dimension.
That's very beautiful though. That hand painted Kala Chakra right there.
See, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you don't know the context, is you just think it's, oh, these are cool patterns, psychedelics, you know what I mean? But like, this is actually word captured. You know, this is word captured. It's crazy.
Somebody can say "fuck you" into the cymatic, and it'll create this beautiful pattern and put beautiful pictures, and now you got "fuck you" on your wall. You don't even know. So somebody could be chanting a whole satanic chant. And then it has this whole beautiful, vibrant color and vibrant pattern. And now you got a fucking sigil for Lucifer himself hanging in your front yard or in your living room, and then you wonder why you're having weird dreams and why stuff is happening to you in your life.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, sometimes I mean, like, I try not to have anything I don't know the history of. That's why I kind of look at dream catchers and be like, man, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just not with the stars. You know, I feel like stars are sus.
Yeah, man. Even I saw this one thing recently that kind of fucked me up because I've been through the Bible a few times, man. But you know they always say you'll miss something. You always find something new every time you go back. But I got directed here by somebody in a video, and this man was talking about how the devil was talking to somebody, and I don't know who he was talking about. I never take the time to go back and look at it. But the demon that he was talking to told the man that they disguise themselves as the stars in the sky. And then they fall from the firmament and they become born unto man as flesh, and then they get worshipped as leaders and as quote like celebrities and shit like that. So it's interesting that you say that about the stars.
So like a Nephilim.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Yo. So are you saying that the elites might be aliens? Is that what you're trying to say, bro?
Man, I could say with my whole chest that that's exactly what the fuck they are. And not only are they aliens, bro, but they're puppets of even bigger, more powerful, unimaginable aliens. And by aliens, of course, we understand that we mean alien to our understanding and not the little big green heads, unless that's what they look like.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what they look like, but there's definitely inhumane forces in charge of this planet.
All right, we're about to go deep. So I have said on the podcast previously that I think Jeffrey Epstein's an alien, right? Mm-hmm. Because there were a lot of documentaries about his victims coming out and saying, hey, you know, he had a weird shaped penis, you know, and they're like, what do you mean? They're like, it was egg shaped. And as much as people laugh that off because we're supposed to laugh at sexual jokes because that's how we're conditioned to, I made a scientific note of, he's got a weird anatomical anomaly, right? But one of his victims had a painting after, and in the painting they depicted Ghislaine Maxwell as a dragon with a Ghislaine Maxwell's head. So to me, I thought, you know, first of all, Lilith, and we'll talk about that later. You know what I mean?
That's weird that you say that, man, because you know they got like some of these new toys, I guess you could say, for the women. Like they got horses and they got dragons, and the dragons do be shaped like eggs.
Damn, so
that's interesting that you say that and made that connection.
Fuck. Well, yeah, we'll bookmark that, bro, because that's fucking crazy as fuck too. But anyways, in that same painting, they had a UFO zipping away, and the UFO had Jeffrey Epstein's head. I'll send it to you after this. What? So I'm like, man, what are aliens known to do? You know, abduct and probe. That sounds just like kidnapping and raping, right? And what did Jeffrey?
That's exactly what that is, bro. That's what they was doing. Like they was taking niggas and fucking.
Translated into legal terms is, you know, kidnap and rape. Pretty much what you're trying to tell me. So I'm like, hey, maybe he's an alien. But in the previous episode, we had a talk about Nephilims, and I brought up this Bible verse, 2 Samuel 21:16-22, but I'm not going to read all the verses. The highlight is, he had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. He defied the Israelites and Jonathan and whatever. But they're talking about how the Nephilims and the giants had 6 fingers and 6 toes. And I brought up the fact that Oprah has 6 toes, you know, and she's kind of an elite. That's kind of tied into this ring too. So might bring credence to the elites being aliens or in touch with alien tech. Because I also did bring up the fact that in the leaked emails, they mentioned Hillary Clinton talking about the Gilgamesh tomb and getting the resurrection chamber started up. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
You know, they say that Hitler had the staff of truth. Like, he ended up somehow obtaining the staff that stabbed Jesus Christ when he died, and he was using the power of that staff to do what he was doing.
And that brings credence to, you know, it's not out there for the elites to try to go for relics. You know what I mean? That mythological relics that are supposed to be.
That's what they've been doing this whole time. That's what they're doing now. And like in the museums and shit like that.
Right.
Like to us, it's just show and tell, but for them, they're keeping that shit safe because they're gonna use it whenever they feel like they have to.
Yeah, man. So I have a hypothesis that these wars, you know, we're coming up with these reasons why we're going as far as like the resources are being limited, but I think it's really to invade and try to excavate like ancient mythological relics. You know, Iraq used to be Sumer, so you know what I mean? You just get, like we talked about before, you're getting lost in the language just because they changed the words. You got to look into what it really is. And yeah, Iraq is Sumer. And we're talking about Ukraine, and Ukraine is kind of where like Khazaria and Tartaria is in Russia, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of stuff under wraps. I mean, the Gilgamesh shit, like Gilgamesh is supposed to be a god, like a Nephilim, pretty much, and they're actually interested in trying to get this shit. So what I'm trying to say too is if they're trying to go for these relics, then they must believe in the gods too.
They do,
right?
They believe in them, and they believe everything that the gods do. But the reason that they can't allow us to believe is because if we believe, then there's a chance that we might get it before they do.
There we go. Hell yeah, bro.
So they have to distract us and keep us doing whatever it is that we do over here, so that they can do that. Because if you look at all these big business owners and all these big things, like none of them never have Jesus in their offices. None of them never have anything, no crosses. They don't ever have any Allah. They never have none of that, man. Like it's always a picture of Buddha. It's always some ancient Mesopotamian relic somewhere, some Egyptian relic somewhere, some ancient African relic somewhere, but it's never Jesus, bro. So like the people that are in charge of this world are from that background.
It's funny, bro.
Like whether they're in white vessels, Asian vessels, it doesn't matter. The spirits, the ancient spirits that took place, that created the ancient forces that created those historical events are living within the elite right now. Why? Because they already cracked the code 1,000 millions of years ago. They're not worried about the trap that they set for us. All they're waiting for is to come back on this earth, being reincarnated again, or whatever people want to say, so that they can continue doing their mission. That's why the other one keeps buying hearts. He keeps putting hearts in his chest. Eventually, he's not going to be able to do that. He's going to find another body to go in, and he's going to be released as some new elite guy, some new leader. But the whole time, it's the same one. Like even the monks, they move the same way. They just move the same way with different intention. Instead of using their power to destroy the nations, they use their power to heal the nations. Everyone around them has the same spirit. Everyone around them is the same doctrine. Everyone around them eats the same, shits the same, sleeps the same. They all have the same spirit. That's why when one of them dies and then they become reincarnated again, they can know exactly who that one is, and they can continue his legacy. That's what they mean when they say that certain gurus have been alive for 300 years, been alive for 400 years. It's not that vessel has been alive for that long, but that spirit has been able to move and animate this body fluently for this long and have that influence for that long. That's why certain people are held as sacred. That's why certain people are being historically recorded.
Yeah, man, there's an alchemist, I think, that they talked about who pretty much was that he would transfer his consciousness, and he was pretty much immortal. And who knows? That might be what happened with Moses. Moses disappeared too, right? Ezekiel disappeared, right? So
A few of them disappeared, and if you notice in the Bible, all the ones that disappeared came back. The ones that died, dead. The ones that was killed, dead. But the ones that just vanished, they came back.
And the Egyptians believed in this. The Egyptians believe that's why they preserve their body, and they you know, this is also a theory that the Egyptians that we think about now that built the pyramids, they inherited the pyramids. The pyramids were there, and so they knew the technology, and so they built.
That's true. That's
and
true.
So they're like, hey, this is a fucking antenna. Let's use it and let's bury ourselves in there, even though it wasn't a burial. Even you know what I mean? They just decided to just get thrown in there to transmute somehow.
Yeah, that's what they thought they was doing, man. Like the Egyptians, they were fooled into a lot of things, bro. Like I feel bad for them because they had a lot of good knowledge and everything like that, but they were being tricked as well. That's why they fell. That's why they didn't get to keep that shit.
You know what's interesting, Doug? Like all these people talking about, like, you know, first of all, it's a complex topic, and I feel like a lot of people are uneducated when they scream for either side. But the immigration thing and the people, I feel like, first of all, you should wonder why there's a Egyptian pyramid in your dollar bill. You know what I mean? In your US dollar bill. Like,
why are they so obsessed with it? Like they're so obsessed with it to the fact that they have all these they have it in the museums. Like Egypt is literally the foundation of America. And even if you look at the structure of our society, bro, like the government and everything, literally modern America is ancient Egypt. What they was doing over there is what we're doing over here. We're just doing it
but under wraps.
At like a lower scale.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro. I feel like they do the same thing. It's just, you know, we feel like it's morally wrong. You know, we get conscious as society and we're like, no, that's morally wrong. And so we put them behind bars and then they have to kind of come back under a new guise, but try to start over in a sense. And one thing that we bookmarked was, it's crazy that you mentioned the dragon being egg-shaped, was Lilith, and my comparison to her being Ghislaine Maxwell. Lilith is supposed to be included in the Adam and Eve story, is what I researched. And apparently Lilith is the archetype for the succubus. And what you said
she's
about
the mother of them.
And what you said about them not wanting us to be in touch with the God spirits, because we'll get to it first. I feel like one spirit that they want us to be engaging with is the succubus.
That's exactly what they want. That's why the women are in charge right now. Because you have to think about it right now, right? So we lived in a world where masculinity was in rule of this planet, right? But which masculinity was in rule of the planet? There was toxic masculinity. So now all of these men that called themselves powerful, most of them were very, very bad men. And it was usually the men that just anyone that's looking at this, any way that you can think of a bad man, that's what's in charge of this world right now, right? Because of the toxic masculine force that was in charge of the world. But now this world is being traded from toxic masculinity to toxic femininity. So now, in the same way that all the toxic males were used to rule this planet, now all the toxic females are being used to rule this planet. In the same way that the men were being used to destroy the masculinity of these young men and make them destroy themselves, is the same way that the women are being used to taint the young women. The same way that the men were taught that it's okay to be sexually active, that it's natural to just to give yourself to all these women, is the same way that the women are being taught these things. This shit is happening in reverse now. Everything's being flipped. The coin is being flipped. The axis has been turned. And that female force is fighting back for her rule. But the only problem is that the female force is very bitter. And not only is she bitter, her followers are bitter. So she's using all these succubus and all these women that have the OnlyFans, these women that do this, these women that do that. Some of them aren't even aware of what they're doing. It's just naturally in their nature. But you can always tell when the spirit of the succubus is taking over somebody and they don't know what's going on, because you got some of these women that literally sell their bodies. They sell their bodies. They give themselves to all these men. And then they feel uncomfortable with these same men looking at them or talking to them or talking about them. Somebody that's conscious, because I've met women that have OnlyFans, they know exactly what they're doing. When people talk to them a certain way, they don't take it offense because they know the consequences that come with this. They know the risk that they're taking. That's what they chose to do. Same thing as like a male drug dealer. He doesn't care if people are calling him a thug and he don't like it. He don't care if people don't like his lifestyle, if his money's dirty. He don't care if women don't like him. That's what he chooses to do.
Yeah.
He owns his shit. But for somebody that can be that sexually active and then be embarrassed when they're quote unquote caught, that right there is a sign that you're not moving consciously. You're not doing that consciously. That's not you doing that.
I see what you're saying.
Like when you look at some of these women, bro, you look in their eyes, they don't have conscious look in their eyes. It's always this blank stare in their eyes. Like they're looking at you like they about to bite you or something.
Well, some would say that's why they're always on drugs, right? So they kind of ignore it and they're numb to what's going on type shit.
Exactly. They're numb. They fight these urges that they can't understand what's going on. But when they take these pills, it's a lot easier for them to get that way. And then that nature, they can just let that nature out of them and they can just do what they want to do without having to think about it.
Yeah, and it wasn't me. I was on drugs, right? They could kind of blame it on something else and not take full responsibility of it.
That's all it is, bro. It's a scapegoat, bro. That wasn't me. That was this. That wasn't that. That was this. That was like, it's never any full responsibility, bro. Like when you're looking out for the succubus, bro, that's one of the main ones to look out for. But the actual real succubus, the one that's really out here trying to corrupt people, like, yeah, you got the grunts. That's what I would call the porn stars and stuff like that. Those are the frontliners. You feel what I'm saying? Those are the frontliners. Those are the ones they throw out there right there that they're just ready to throw themselves out in the world. Those are the frontliners. Those are the ones that get taken out. Those are the ones.
I hear you. Yeah.
But the actual succubus, bro, is going to come to you in disguise. You have to understand that these women, they don't want you to know that they're succubuses, bro. So there's a difference between a succubus and a horny woman. Because some of these women just be mad horny and they be like, oh, I'm a succubus. No, bitch, you just got high sex drive. That's not what's going on. The actual succubus is in disguise, bro. The actual succubus takes a long time, very slowly, to seduce the mind of the woman. These are the type of women that you meet them and they be all shy and polite and they just got all these good manners or whatever, bro. But then you take them into the room and they become someone different. Their voices change. Everything changes about them. You have sex with them. You feel something. It feels like something's being pulled away from you. You get done. Now you fall asleep. You wake up. Your head's all weird. Sometimes you feel like you lose your memory a little bit. You go in a kind of daze. You wake up low energy. Feel like you just did a big ass workout or whatever. And you look at them. They wired, wide the fuck awake, happy as hell, ready to do whatever the fuck, bro. Well, then just watch them. And just watch them. And then the longer you be with that type of spirit, the longer you'll see that you'll decline and you'll start seeing things going away from you, but you won't care because it feels so good. That's what the succubus is doing. The succubus is not out here trying to broadcast who she is. The succubus is out here trying to survive. Like they feed off of sexual energy, but they don't feed off of just any sexual energy. They don't feed off of reckless, like impulsive lust. They want you to love them. They want you to desire them.
Because that energy is a different kind of flavor to them, right? Like
it's a lot more pure.
Yeah, okay.
It's a lot more pure. It's like a crackhead that they want the pure crack. They don't want that cut shit. They want the real shit.
They want that blue Heisenberg shit.
They want the real stuff. That's how the succubus is, bro. And like, not only do they work through women like that, man, they work through men too, because the succubus, like I said, it's not a male or female spirit. It's an androgynous spirit. It moves. It does not have a gender. It's an inhuman spirit. It's a force. It's a carnal force. And it moves through the carnal emotion of lust. When Lilith was out here, when the reason that she's called the mother of the succubus, is because she's recorded as the first one who seduced.
Wow. Okay.
She's recorded as the first one that seduced someone away from their partner. Supposedly, in the Gnostics, she was the one that seduced Eve. But before
So I did some research just to cut you off, and I'll set this up for you. So apparently, and this goes into the androgynous stuff that you were talking about. Apparently, the two beings in Eden was Adam and Eve, and they're androgynous. And I'll put up a picture of what I mean by that, because it's not like they're gay, kind of like Baphomet type shit. Almost conjoined at the hip type of fucking Siamese twins type of shit. And Adam and Eve was one, and it was Lilith and Samuel, I guess, was one, right? And Adam and Eve was supposed to be paired with Samuel and Lilith, but I guess, and this is what I mean, everyone, an androgynous being. And this is kind of why I feel like, I think we had this conversation before of like, you evolve when you're with a female, because a male and a female need, we're complete as one. And the reason
that's why they say man and woman come together and they become one flesh.
Right, exactly. And it's controversial, but I've said God is gay, and what do I mean by that? You can't box him in as a male or female because he transcends gender and duality, So it's kind of clickbait, but you get what I mean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that's where the whole rib comes from. Of Adam, Eve came from Adam's rib, is because they said that God actually performed surgery and split him up, and that's what happened. But what happened was
that's
Lilith
interesting, sir. That's very interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Lilith
was supposed to be paired with Adam, but I guess Adam wanted to be on top to mate, but Lilith felt like they were even. So, Lilith's like, why can't I be on top? You know what I mean? Or we should be even.
Yeah, I've heard that, man.
And then apparently she revolted, and, she got casted out, and that's when she was cursed. And I guess the curse was she was going to lose a bunch of her babies, like 100 babies a day. And so she became like this kind of reptilian, kind of snake shapeshifter, and she was kind of Satan and seduced Eve. And because Eve was the first one to, they said bite the apple, but apparently they had sex. Right. And because of that, the punishment was, that's why females have their period.
Female, it's easier to seduce a woman than it is to seduce a man, bro.
And to seduce a man, you use the woman. So, right?
Exactly.
It's a chain reaction.
Like, it's easier to seduce the woman, bro. Like, that's why back in the day, like the reason that women lost their power back in the day is because, women were powerful, whatever, man. But the reason that the women lost their power is because they was doing too damn much. Now the men went too far about how they was dealing with the shit, but they was doing too damn much, bro. They was doing too fucking much. Like, you have to understand that when the woman has all the power to manifest, if somebody comes to you and tells you, all right, you can do this and you can do that, and then you start doing it selfishly, and then you start giving birth to all this chaos, they're going to have to get rid of you, bro. They're going to have to get rid of you, man. They're going to have to.
You're right, man. I feel like that's why women are so powerful, because, something that also brings credibility to that is the fact that they're also known to have long hair, and long hair seems to be intact with spirituality. It's like,
your hair is your glory. That's even in the Bible as well, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, Samuel, now that it's kind of funny that he comes up again, but Samuel had or Samson, it was Samson, not Samuel. Samson had the hair with the powers and stuff. But one thing to note is I didn't see anything about them splitting up Lilith and Samuel. And so that androgynous being is probably what you're talking about. Yeah. But when you said how they're androgynous, that shit was interesting to me that you said it wasn't a female or a male, because it always gets put in a box of a hyper sexual female.
Male or female. But the thing with the women though, because I got off track, the reason that the priests and things like that would put the women at a limit, because they didn't just come out of nowhere and just start killing women out of nowhere. They kept warning the women, hey man, you can do this and we love your power or whatever, bro. And your power is cool, bro, but You're doing too much. You can't do this. You can't do that. You're going to cause this to happen over there. You're going to cause that to happen over there. I know you gave birth to this, that, and the third, but you should not have done that. That thing is not supposed to exist on this planet, bro. You're going to cause death on this world. They was doing all type of unnecessary shit. They was falling in love with shit they shouldn't have fell in love with, and they was lusting after things they shouldn't have lusted after, and they started doing too much. All the different traditions and stuff like that. 9 times out of 10, when the evil person went to someone and seduced someone, it was always a woman. Even when you come back down to the Book of Enoch, they came down and they taught the women the secrets of the heaven. They didn't teach the men.
Yeah, you're right.
They taught the women the secrets of heaven. And then the women started using it, not with their own intentions, but from the intentions of the things that they were in love with, bro. And the men kept trying to tell them, hey, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do that. Like, if we're going to do this, we have to do this for the betterment of everyone. We have to do this for the betterment of all. And the women started trying to take over the world. Mm-hmm. And they started trying to destroy this and destroy that and get rid of this religion and get rid of that religion because it wasn't allowing them to do what they wanted to do. So then when it got further on into the future, like I said, the men went too far, of course. I don't condone either half. I'm not saying that it was okay for them to do anything they did. But the time came and it was like, all right, but these bitches don't want to listen, bro. And they starting to fuck with, not only they fucking with the environment, they fucking with the planet, they fucking with the universe. Mm-hmm. These bitches are doing too much. So we about to burn everybody.
That's what I'm about to say that. Because first of all, they were the witches. They were called witches, so they burned them.
Mm-hmm.
Second
they used to be the leaders of the world. The women, the witches, they used to be the original oracles. They were the mothers. They used to be the original leaders of the world. But then when the leaders of the world start hiding shit from you and they start keeping secrets.
Yeah. That's why,
what do you expect?
There's that theory of why they, and we talked about ancient spells back then, and, it used to be passed down through songs and then it became text. That's why they didn't want women to read. Because they probably, would remember shit or be able to know how to use it or see it for what it is.
Exactly. And exactly. And
that's pretty interesting.
And there's two sides to it. Because, if you hear it as a woman, of course, you're going to be like, well, fuck them. If you hear it as a man, you're going to be like, yeah, fuck them bitches. But if you look at it from the outside looking in, just not as a man, as a woman, just as a spectator in general, if you look at that shit, it has its pros and it has its cons. The men are like this, simple like this. From the beginning, whatever the beginning was, we got all these different stories or whatever, but all we know is, or all they telling us is, in the beginning, the woman got fooled, and then the woman came and fooled the man. Mm-hmm. The man got tired of listening to the shit that this bitch was talking about, and he decided to take shit into his own hands. And he is telling this masculine energy, not just me as a man, not just you as a man, the masculine energy period. The masculine energy period does not want to come back in unison with the feminine energy until the feminine energy has the amount of order and or respects the order of the masculine energy. And right now, what's happening right now is that throughout history and through all these different vessels, the toxic femininity does not want to bond with the divine masculine, and the divine masculine refuses to bond with the toxic femininity. Adam is running away from Eve because Eve still don't listen. That's what's happening through all this shit, bro. That's what's going on.
Shit, bro. One thing also I wanted to bring up was the fact that who did Eve give birth to? Cain and Abel, right? Mm-hmm. And they said Cain, after what he did to Abel, God put a mark on him, right? Mm-hmm. So there's also the theory that, and it's crazy that one of the curses on Lilith was that she was going to lose like 100 kids a day, and how I linked that to that being the reason why women have their periods and they lose an egg, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Your menstrual cycle. So whether that's like a micro or the macro, it's pretty interesting. But there is also the theory that Lilith hacked, since she fucked Eve too, that the reason they had twins was because one was Adam and one was Lilith. And that's why Cain and Abel had their thing. And if you look at the story, Cain and Abel and Adam and Eve were supposed to be the first people, right?
Yeah.
Most of the people in the Bible are Canaanites. Canaanites meaning they're of Cain. So when we talk about a shape-shifting reptilian and a reptilian bloodline, there might, and if this Genesis story is kind of real, there
that's
might
true,
be some
though,
truth
because
to that.
the Gnostics say that Lilith's daughter Lama was the wife of Cain, and I think that lines up. I think that's actually her name in the Bible. So not only that, but right here in this book I got over here, it's called the Hidden Books of Eden. And
oh shit, okay.
It speaks about Adam and Eve when they left paradise. And what it talks about is how they used to be a divine androgynous spirit that was just in the glory of God, in the grace of God, within the heavens amongst all of divine creation. But then they got tricked into believing that it can ascend higher than that. So God created this other world, this earthly realm, and created garments of flesh, which is the skin we live in, to encase the spirit. And he split the androgynous spirit in half and put it in a male and a female body.
God damn it. Yeah, bro, because they did say that they clothed them in animal skin. What the fuck does that mean?
But they weren't clothed in animal skin until they got on earth. And then God gave them animal skin because their skin wasn't able to take the heat of the sun yet. Because they were learning how to use their human bodies. Mm-hmm. So they didn't know how to use their bodies yet. Like, to the point where if Adam got too excited, he got too scared, he would die because his heart would beat too fast and he'd faint as dead. And God had to keep reviving these niggas because they didn't know they didn't know how to use their bodies yet. And then when they finally had, matter of fact, hold on, let me bring the book. Let me stop. Hold up. Let me give me a second.
Yeah, I'll take over. That shit's crazy, bro. And hey, man, like, why we bring this up is we're not saying that this is true. We're not saying that this is real. But hey, is it wrong to?
Right now, hold on.
I'm just talking to the audience.
You said what?
Is it wrong? I'm just talking to the audience, filling up the space.
My bad.
We're not saying this is all real. It could be real, but is it wrong to question or see another take?
Just think about the connection
that we all know. You know what I mean?
Think about it.
Yeah, just a thought experiment. And if it lines up, that's up to you, bro.
Niggas ain't trying to convert nobody.
Yeah, if it makes more sense than the narrative, that's on you. But these aren't even our thoughts, these are the Gnostics' thoughts. We're just talking about ancient texts and what this religion and spirituality narrative has become and evolved to and what it's based on. So look up Lilith, look up, androgynous alchemy, look all this shit up. And
all right, so check this out, right?
Yeah. So
right here, Gods of Hidden Forgotten Books of Eden. This is the book right here. Okay, I got this for fucking $9 at the thrift shop. It's worth $104. This was a steal. Okay, so right here on chapter X, which is 10 in Roman numerals, if I'm not mistaken, it says, "Oh God," right here it says, "their bodies need water after they leave the garden." Now, in this book, it tells you how the Garden of Eden was actually inside of Earth, in a different realm of Earth. And then there's different parts of this Earth. Like the Garden of Eden is like you have to pass through a specific type of stargate to get through and get into the Garden of Eden. It's like inner Earth type shit. Dog. Inner Earth on Earth. It's crazy the way that they describe this shit, bro. But anyway, so it says their bodies need water after they leave the garden. And Adam says, "Oh God, while we were in the garden, we did not require or care for this water. But since we came to this land, we cannot do without it. Then God said to Adam, while thou wast under my command and was a bright angel." I'm going to read that again. "While thou wast under my command and was a bright angel, thou knowest not this water. But after thou hast transgressed my commandment, thou canst not do without water wherein to wash thy body and make it grow. For it is now like that of beasts and is in want of water." Now you tell me, You tell me. If we were already on Earth and Adam and Eve were human when all that shit happened, why would their bodies change if the bodies were already there? I have always told people that the Garden of Eden, even in the Bible, it tells you two separate creation stories: the creation of Earth and the creation of the Eden. Eden was paradise.
Oh my goodness.
Eden was a whole nother world. That's some Ice Age type shit. You boom and that's
So, bro, what's crazy is I actually just tweeted a thought experiment. I was like, what if the Garden of Eden was Area 51? And that's why they're hiding that shit.
Like shit like the Bermuda Triangle and stuff like that. Like those stuff like that. If you look at the geography or whatever, and you line up the geography of the Bible and stuff like that, some of those areas just so happen to be within the areas of those quote unquote 4 paths to the Garden of Eden. Now you have certain people that will try to tell you, oh, well, the 4 paths is 4 paths in your mind that go up your spine and then they go into your brain. And they look, man, look.
Heaven's in your mind.
Look, it's all in your head for sure. But as above, so below, as within, so without, my nigga. As the spirit, so the soul. So yeah, cool. You can tell everybody, oh, it's in your mind, y'all. Don't listen to this guy. Like, I just lost a whole group of friends, my nigga. Well, really, I didn't even lose the whole group of friends. I lost the ringleader because he got upset that I challenged him. And we had a disagreement 3 times, but every time we had a disagreement, he would come back to me and he would have this whole little adorable fucking draw out on a damn whiteboard, how he went all scientific and found out everything that I just tried to fucking tell the man, but he didn't want to listen to me because I reference old tradition and he tries to be modern and scientific about shit. So he calls the things that we talk about, he called me a devil worshiper. He called my beliefs spookism. He did all this, he did all that. And
that's
I'm talking
new.
And yeah, I was like, look, man, his problem is that he tries to take credit for all the work. He tries to take credit for all the spiritual development, but doesn't want to give credit where it's due. You can't tell people, you can't be out here telling people that they can do this shit by themselves. Nowhere in human history, nowhere in spiritual history has any spirit done anything by themselves, or has any human done anything by themselves. It's always been a collective thing. Even the main heroes in the stories, they might have had the power. They might have fought by themselves, but the whole time that they was going up and getting their shit done, bro, like they had a whole team behind them. It's always been a team effort. To convince somebody that the Bible should not be read, to convince somebody that that Buddhism is evil and that you shouldn't listen to what he's saying and you shouldn't listen to the physicality of spirituality. To tell somebody that is disrespectful. To tell somebody that is evil, that's not right. I don't believe in that shit, bro. Because you can't tell somebody, hey, man, you don't know what devils and angels mean. It's just the different chambers of your mind. Or hell and heaven is just the different chambers of your mind. But then as soon as somebody agrees with you, you call them a devil worshiper. So clearly people need to be careful. They need to be careful who they follow, because thoughts like that are counterproductive, especially when you read books like the Kabbalion and you read books like the Hermetics. You have any Hermetic teachings. Who did you think these niggas was speaking to? These niggas was talking to spirits. They was summoning spirits. They was doing alchemy on their spirits. You have to step out. You have to step outside of yourself and go into the world and deal with all these things and go through all these obstacles in order to find what you are looking for. You have to step out of yourself to do that. So to tell somebody that they don't need any outside forces, to tell somebody that don't know nothing about nothing, that all they need is themselves, is very fucking dangerous. That's not how you do that. You don't tell people what to do. You don't try to change people's minds. You don't try to convince people to do what you want them to do and to read what you want them to read and think what you want them to think. You don't do that. And that's the type of shit he was on.
I 100% believe you, and I'm not going to speculate, and I'm going to try to speak occultly and in code, so I don't get canceled. We don't get this fucking stream pulled down. But yeah, you're right, man. But it seems like there's a certain group of people that make it so that if you question it, it's illegal.
That's exactly how. That's exactly what the experience that
let's talk carefully because I don't want to say what you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I think you catch my drift, bro.
That's exactly what that was. They don't want me. They don't want me there, bro. They don't want me there, bro. Like when I start doing this, I make people think, and not only do I make people think, I start making people think back, and they don't want people to think back. Mm-hmm. They just want people right here.
Right.
No, don't listen to that. Don't listen to that. Don't listen to that. I already found it. Just listen to what I have.
And being called a devil worshiper, witch, is one of the ancient forms of cancellation. You know, blasphemous. It's ancient form of cancellation. And you know what? I will say, I feel like is that magic? I feel like peer pressure is some sort of magic, right? Because you do feel it in an ethereal way, and it's based on like a system of social environment. But yeah, is that magic that they came up with to cancel you and call you a devil worshiper so that you don't access information? You know what I mean? And
the reason that they do that, they try to do that to make you question yourself.
Yeah. And you buy their narrative.
Yeah, that's all they try to do. They try to do that to make you question yourselves, and they do that to redirect the minds of the people that are following them. Because when the man casted me away as the devil, it's counterproductive for him to cast me away as a devil because he doesn't believe in demons. He doesn't believe in devils. He believes that demons and devils are lower parts of himself. So if you believe that demons and devils are lower parts of yourself and you believe that they cannot be worshipped on the outside, then how can you accuse me of worshiping a devil on the outside? Because this is my biggest thing that I don't really appreciate about woke people or conscious people, however you want to call yourself. When they hear me, they appreciate all my truths. You know, they follow me on all the social medias. Like, they invite me in their groups and they let me talk about all of these things as long as I talk within their bracket. But the moment that I start talking about tradition and I start talking about what our ancestors did, and I start trying to give credit to the ancestors, and then not only do I give credit to the ancestors, but I give credit to our creator, the creator of our vessel. Now, whether I am the creator speaking through this body to you right now does not matter. Whether I'm aware of that does not matter. Right now, I'm a human being named Wilbert Elijah Brunson. And until I leave and go back to source, that is who I am. So right now, the connection between me and source is human and God. So when I give people, hey, everything I do it for God. I do it for the inner God within me. I know what God means. And if you know what God means, then you know that I don't have to explain that. But some people like to get technical when they feel challenged because they try to test you and see where you're at. They try to fuck with your mind. Ignore people like that. When I give people the truth and how I feel, I'll be like, well, I do this for my ancestors. If it wasn't for my ancestors, I wouldn't know this. If it wasn't for that, they'd be like, what about you, man? What about you? It's not your ancestors, man. It's you. It's you. It's you. No, it's not. When I was born on this planet, I didn't know shit. I didn't know nothing unless I was told, unless I picked up a book, unless I picked up a phone, unless I picked up the laptop, unless somebody else told me. I didn't know nothing. All this knowledge that I have, the reason that I have it is because I read books. I sat down, I meditated on these things. I calculated these things. I wrote about this shit. I dedicated years of my life to this stuff. But before I did that, somebody else did it first. So who the hell would I be for me to go out here and read these books and study these African traditions and learn the way that they divine through nature and how they connect through nature? And who the fuck would I be to read the Kabbalion or read anything that Aleister Crowley wrote, whether he was good or evil, a freak of nature, whatever the fuck people want to say about him? I don't care. Who would I be to read all of these things and not be like, hey, man, shout out to them? We have to give homage to them. We have to pay respect to them because energy never dies. So how do you think that these forces would feel if you're taken away from them and you're not fucking paying respect where it's due? You're not giving credit where it's due. And people are asking you, where did you get this? Or you're just saying, oh, it's all me. I did it by myself.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. That's the exact same thing that the colonizers did. That's the exact same thing that the Christians did. That's the exact same thing that the Crusaders did, bro. They
Pretty
came
much.
into all these different civilizations. They learned all these people's ways. They profited off all these people's intelligence, whether it was spiritual or physical intelligence. And then they killed them off and casted them off as demons. I don't like that. Because if you respect my spirituality, if you respect my intelligence, you respect all of it. Because I don't never change the way that I talk. Like you follow me on my TikTok, bro. Like the same way I talk right here, that's the same way I'll be on TikTok. And if you go and if you ever meet me in person, you'll see it's the exact same way. I don't change how I am with nobody. And the problem with people is that they keep trying to be leaders and they don't understand that you will always be an indefinite student to the game. People without power, they have little power. So whenever they learn something that gives them a lot of power, they cling on to it.
Feels good.
And they hide in their own cloud of righteousness, bro. And that's just cowardly, bro. Like, have you ever seen the movie, that most recent Thor movie where Thor had to go up and holler at Zeus right quick so that he can get Zeus's help to save the humans?
Yeah.
When he went up, that's a very powerful scene to me, bro. And people be trying to tell me that I'll be thinking too deep and that this ain't that or whatever, bro. But I don't give a fuck about none of that, bro. Like, fuck them. So I'm looking at this scene and Thor is trying to get the help from Zeus. Long story short, Zeus tells him, bro, we don't concern ourselves with stuff like that, bro. Like, we up here, we don't go down there and help the humans. We don't risk ourselves going down there with the humans, bro. So then Thor was like, what? So y'all mean to tell me y'all sitting out here in paradise and y'all just chilling, happy, in gold and doing all this crazy shit, bro? Y'all just letting people suffer down like that, bro? Y'all some cowards. Y'all weak. Y'all ain't no damn gods. And then when he embarrassed Zeus in front of all these guys, then Zeus had to do that. And then Zeus had to fucking try to show him what it was, and then it didn't work out for him. So like, I'm like, that's exactly what I felt like I experienced that day. Which was,
you know what, bro? I have
weird.
to say now in the age that we're living in, to get up to date with these occult teachings, to learn Gnosticism, like I said, you could just fucking Google it. You know, there's podcasts like this where if you hear it, some jabroni can hear this shit, bro, and be like, oh, I know Lilith. You know, I know, like, bro, we barely scratch the surface. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you have
exactly,
to go
bro.
and you have to go and do your research.
We just said her name. Watch it. Just watch. It's gonna be that one nigga. They gonna hear me.
But dog, yeah, like I know everything. Like I'm a black belt at it to where I start my own Instagram or like account, and you know I'm posting all this shit about things that I know. And it's hard because the internet is also a huge source of information. Like we have over information. So someone that wanted, even because I practice martial arts, someone can learn martial arts in their fucking living room. Back then, you had to go out there. You had to get your ass kicked, and then someone had to respect you. Someone had to respect you to be like, you know what, you're worth teaching. I see some potential. And then it starts there. You know what I mean? Same with the shit that we're talking about. You had to get inducted to secret societies and earn
back then, nigga,
the shit.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Look, we know about the dodecahedron and shit now, bro. Back then,
you can Google it. You can watch that shit on YouTube, bro, while you're taking a shit. My nigga,
if you said icosahedron in the public, they would assassinate your ass.
Bro, because, imagine the flat earthers. Like you can't be a flat earther anymore. You know what I'm saying?
My nigga, they was not playing about this knowledge, bro. If you was just like everybody couldn't have it. Writing, spelling, it was literally for the elite, the people that was in charge of the planet was allowed to write because they understood. But then some participation trophy ass motherfucker, whoever the fuck it was, decided to come through and be like, well, that's not fair. I think everyone deserves a piece of the magic. And now look at us.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Yeah, they don't want me to talk. I'll talk too long and then I'll start.
It's true, man. And see, that's the difference, bro. So let's say, like, you know, in your culture and sometimes in my culture too, like some of the real occult stuff that you can't really Google was passed down through stories. You know what I mean? And so when you
Yep.
see that shit in your environment, you think back about, your ancestor that told you that, and you're
Exactly. And
appreciative of it. And you're like,
I have things like that, bro, that I've never you can't Google it. I can tell you, but
exactly. And like,
you won't find it. You won't find it.
and it's like,
here.
you woke me up, so I'm appreciative of it. But imagine that same you, like a variant of you that woke up or that grew up in an environment that was very, you know what I mean, privileged, right? And then you learned all this shit because you watched Google and YouTube. You wouldn't be appreciative of an ancestor that taught you. You'd be like, man, I'm some kind of learning machine. You know what I mean? I should start my own cult. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what people think. And that's what he told me to do. He told me to get out of his group. He said we raising gods over here. You can get out of here with that devil worship bullshit. And the reason that he said that is because we was talking about abortion, and he was like, this woman asked us, what do we think about abortion? And he said he thinks it's evil because when you call a spirit into the world and you clip it from its vessel and you stop it from a star seed from growing into a son, he has his own little, alchemical formulation of what family and whatever that is. But I agree with him still, even though he said it different. I agree with him. Because in the Yoruba tradition, they believe that abortion is bad because the Almighty, which is the name Eledumare, he has a plan for each spirit that manifests on this planet. However it comes is how it comes. But once the spirit is here, it has a mission, regardless of how it comes. So when you abort a baby, whether it be intentionally or unintentionally, you stop that spirit. Now, just because you kill the vessel doesn't mean that the spirit is not here, because the spirit was still sent to influence your life. So once you kill that birth, then whatever you truly desire and whatever you truly try to give birth to, like if you truly desire love and you want to put life into your love life, it'll fail. If you truly value whatever you value, whatever you could value with the same amount of love that you would have, we're supposed to give that child, it will flop every single time. And the only way for you to get rid of that is to appease that spirit. And how they appease it is different. It depends on who you are, depends on the situation, what happens when they do the divinations and stuff like that, because the recipe for the solving is different. It's like going to a doctor. If you go to a doctor for strep throat and you go to a doctor for pancreatic cancer, you know what I'm saying? The remedies and the healing and the medicines that you're going to have to take and everything you have to go through is entirely different. Same doctor, different prescription. So another way that I can compare that would be like with that one girl off a Ghost Whisperer. You feel me? Like, how those spirits, they will haunt these people and bad, scary shit will be happening in their life. Like shit be happening, like slamming in their doors or whatever. But the whole time, the spirit just trying to get their attention whole time. Now, whether the spirit is angry with them is up to the spirit. You know what I'm saying? But disruption in the home and in the mind is going to happen because an untimely death has happened. A disturbance has been happening within the spirit, whether it's your spirit, the spirit of a loved one, or one to come, which would be the newborn.
Wow.
When this woman would speak to those spirits, the spirits would come to her because they knew that she could see them. So they would come to her and they would say, hey, man, I've been trying to get my son's attention, but I don't think he can see me. What's going on? Well, first of all, you're dead. Whoa, didn't know that. Thank you for letting me know that. Now, can you take me over to my son and tell him that I need to say this before I go here? Okay, cool. So then she takes him over. Hey, man, I know your son. I know your mother. Her name is this, that, and the third. And she wanted me to tell you this, that, and the third. And then the dude was blown the fuck away. Wow, how did you know that? I don't even know you. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's like that. But interesting. When I say words like appease, and I say ancestors, and I say spirits, and I say this, and I say that, this specific person, he would go and he'd always be triggered by that. If I ever mention anything about the Bible or anything about spirit or anything like that, he'd get triggered and he'd disrespect me, but he'd do it indirectly. So when I told her,
who is this guy?
His name is God Body. Try me on any platform. Very intelligent dude, very gifted man. Just for some reason he don't like what I be talking about. I don't know.
Hey, God Body, try me. Go suck a dick, bro.
I wouldn't go as far as to disrespect him like that, but I for sure feel like he just needs to stay in his lane for sure. But
smoke a ball, bro. Smoke a ball.
Definitely needs to hit the blunt or something, bro. But he casted me away, and he told me that He told me that I was a devil worshiper because of that. He thinks that I'm a devil worshiper because of the traditions that I believe in. And that's perfectly fine because he feels like animal sacrifice and shit like that is evil, this, that, and the third. But that's because he doesn't understand what's going on. And I've already broken it down to him. So I'm kind of confused as to why he still feels like that. You know, maybe he has his mind made up. I don't know what he got going on. I don't know what's up with that. But this is the thing about animal sacrifice. When the people sacrifice these animals, bro, they're not just picking up random animals, just minding their business and just killing them senselessly for no fucking reason. That's not what's happening. These people, they live different than we do out there. They own these animals. They raising these motherfuckers, bro. From the egg to the death, they raising them. And the difference between the way that they process their animals and how they process their materials and the way that we do is that when the cows are being slaughtered in the slaughterhouse, nobody's thanking God for that. Nobody's praying over these cows. Nobody's saying grace. Nobody's distributing nutrition. Nobody's thanking the hands that prepared. Nobody's doing none of that. Nobody's thanking anyone for the lives of the cows. No one's thanking anybody for the resources to be able to raise the cows. Nobody's thanking anyone. They're just throwing these cows into the machine and they're just killing them. The Africans, any African, the indigenous, I should say, not just Africans, anyone that practices animal sacrifice, and with this intention anyway, because there are some freaks out there. When they take this goat or they take this cow or they take this whatever, they don't give just any cow, any goat. They try to find the most healthiest one. My laptop's going to die, so I'm going to make this short.
Yeah.
But they find the most healthiest one. Even in the Bible, it's always the healthiest one, the most powerful one. And they thank God, the power, the life giver that gave life to all things, gave life to the water that watered the crop, gave life to the crop, that fed the cow. They thank God for the cow. It's healthy and be able to make it long enough to be processed to give nutrition to the civilization. And then when they kill the life, they pray to the cow, to, thank the cow for its life or whatever, man. They sing, they do whatever they got to do. Sounds wild, bro, but I mean, it is what that's what's happening. They break it down for you, you understand. Yeah. But they do all that, and then once they kill the goat and they kill it, they spill the blood, they leave the blood, they do whatever, and they distribute it. They got somebody there that knows how to cut up that motherfucker, bro. They eat what they need to eat. They feed the vultures what they need to feed the vultures. They make the clothes out of what they need to clothes. They donate this to the homeless if they got it. They do this, they do that. Everybody eats. The bugs eat, the humans eat, the grass eat, the ground eat, everyone eats. It's a fucking universal thing. So when I say words like appease, or I say things like sacrifice, or I say things like this, that, and the third, people get upset. But you have to understand that things are different out there, but those animals know their place. They've been going through this shit for millions of thousands of fucking years. When you go out there and they do the animal sacrifices, these animals don't fight for their life because they know what's happening. And that sounds wild. I know it sounds crazy, bro. I'm looking at myself. I look crazy talking about it, but that's what it is. If you go look up Ifa sacrifice, Ifa Ebo sacrifice, and just look at the animals that they're holding, whether they're holding a dove, whether they're holding a goat, whether they're holding a dog, whatever the fuck they're holding to sacrifice, bro. That shit is peace. Crazy. It's not fighting for its life. And if the animal fights for its life, if the animal tries to resist itself from being sacrificed, then they count that as the spirits or as God telling them that this animal is not supposed to be sacrificed. Because I've seen it with my own eyes, bro. Honest to God, I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen machetes sharp enough to cut clean through metal, bro. And then they try to cut a fucking goat's head off and it will not cut the fucking goat.
Damn.
Because the spirit will mount the goat and it will not allow you to kill it because it's not supposed to die. That's how they know that these spirits are real and that they can be protected. That's why when you go out there in Africa, bro, nigga, the criminals out there are different. The criminals have spiritual protection. They have shit, nigga. You shoot them in their fucking face and the bullet won't go through them, bro.
Some people say that's the case with the fucking cartel too in Mexico. Like
yes,
they have some kind of magic.
Yes, they get their shit from Africa, bro. Like I've seen people from Mexico. They go to Africa for that protection, bro. You stab them
because they
and
do
the blade,
sacrifice and shit like that too. Yeah,
and the blade won't go through them, bro.
That's fucking wild. Bro.
It won't go through them. It don't matter if it's a fucking rifle bullet or whatever, bro. Like that spirit is mounting you. You can't be hurt. So when they try to say like, oh, this is evil, this is that. No, it's not, bro. These are ancient forces of nature, and they not gonna let you fuck up no force of nature that is not supposed to be fucked up. And if for some reason that you go out your way to figure out a way to fuck it up, then you reap what you sow. People go into these ancient traditions and they think that they can just use these ancient spirits to just get money and get this and get that and then just throw them away. But that's not how that works. That's why they think it's demonic, because they're scared of accountability. And that's what the ancient spirits, they give you. They give you accountability, bro.
This is what I think. I think, first of all, there's a lot to unpack, but I'll say this. The guy who's, calling people devil worshiper because you're challenging their beliefs. Like I said, being called a devil worshiper and a Satan worshiper is the most primitive form of being canceled. But also, you threaten their power. Like, I have this newfound God complex because of the research I have, and you're trying to take it away from me. In the back of their head too, the people that are like God complex because of your YouTube research, you goddamn well know that in the back of your head, you're insecure that, well, maybe someone else knows where I'm getting my research, or what if somebody knows I'm just echoing this YouTube video? If I get exposed for my sources, then everybody can beat me. So you're kind of defensive about that shit.
Like you can't just repeat shit that you hearing and shit, but you're not doing none of the work. That's lazy. You can do all this drawn out, you can do all this stuff, bro. But like, I'm just speaking from experience, bro. Like, this is a brother of mine, bro. So like, I know this version of him that he has presented to me. I know for a fact that every time that he's ever challenged anything that I said, I will stop talking to him because I removed myself from his group first. He added me back on there. I didn't put myself in that motherfucker. He put me back in there. I stayed far away from him because he disrespected my spirituality. He presented himself back to me. But anyway,
what's interesting? What's interesting too, I talked about spirituality and religion. This kind of makes sense with that too. Is spirituality is so abstract. Like, you and I can read a text, and how it played out is different from how it played out in your head. And that's the cool thing about connecting and conversing, because if we come to a middle ground, then we're like, hey, we think it's this. You know what I mean? But for you to be like, no, this is right. This is the universal truth of the abstract spiritual realm. Like, it gets kind of culty. You know what I mean? Like, how do you know? And I always say on the podcast, like, it's like a blind person doing DMT and he's trying to tell you what he saw. Like, what the fuck? Like, bro, what do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about, bro. That's spirituality. Sense.
Like, you can use all the telescopes and all the microscopes and everything you want. This is why they don't like Mr. Me. This is why they don't like me, because they do all this extensive research and they feel like they have to do all these formulas. I'm sorry, somebody's making a whole bunch of noise. I can't tell where it's coming from. But all I gotta do is find a couple nuts on the ground, 16 symbolic nuts, or I can find 4 pieces of anything with 2 sides, 4 coins, anything. Throw that shit on the ground. Ask the spirits a question. And they tell me anything that I want to fucking know. And I do it primitively. And I do that shit on purpose because I can go about it the scientific way. I can articulate myself just as well. I already know how to use all the equipment. I know that stuff. I know about quantum physics. I know about all that shit. But I like being primitive about my things, because when a tree grows, it grows from root to top. It does not grow from leaf to root. It grows from root to leaf. So anytime anyone tries to bring me anything scientific, I'll be like, all right, that's cool. Let me show you where that came from. And then I want you to make the connections. But with him and people like him, they don't care about the ancestors. They don't want to care about the ancestors. All they want to do is just take this work that everybody else collected and they just want to do their own thing with it. And that's cool, you know, if that's what you want to do, bro. But that's not right. That's lazy, man. That's lazy as hell. I done been in the real spiritual realm. I done talked to actual real spirits, bro. I done been fucked up. You know, I done been possessed. I done been this. I done did that. That is the risk that I took, bro. But the reason that I made it out is because I am who I say I am. And when you have people like him who are afraid of this type of knowledge and afraid of this type of experience, it's because, to me, from personal experience, is because they aren't who they say they are. Maybe they might be developing that, but for someone to claim God energy, if you have a God energy within yourself, bro, you shouldn't be scared of what could or could not be coming inside of your body. Because even some of the highest, even some of the highest people like the pharaohs and all that shit, bro, like Thoth, he's telling me that I should stop telling people what I'm telling them because I'm gonna get their soul snatched and because I'm gonna get them possessed. But Hermes Trismegistus, or motherfucking Thoth, the one who wrote the tablets, literally was possessed when he wrote the tablets of Thoth. He literally invited a spirit into his body. He was possessed by Atoms. He was possessed by the elites of the astral realm.
And that term gets used loosely, possessed. Like, I feel like there's a spectrum of it, right? You know what I mean? Like, making music, when you're freestyling, I would think that you got possessed somehow. You know what I mean? That shit wasn't you. That's you attract a certain frequency to give you a possession. Like,
the word possession has been attached to a bunch of negative things. You know what I'm saying? But you just have to think about it. Like, this right here, this is a possession. This is a possession.
Yeah.
This is a possession. I possess this in my hand now. This is a possession.
God, so it's like, bro, now that you think about it, if song is a spirit, creating and capturing it is sort of possession because you captured it, like a Pokeball, like you caught it.
Exactly. You're possessing the sound. Exactly. You're possessing that frequency. You're speaking through that frequency. You are now possessing that. Or you can allow it to move through you, which would be called singing. Now you're possessed by the spirit of singing. When we do things like this, now we're being possessed by the spirit of free thinking, or whatever you want to call it. You feel what I'm saying? We attract, we possess ourselves. We possess ourselves. We grab possessions, bro. We take it. We allow them to possess us. We allow them to hold us. We allow them to think with us. That's what the ancient Africans used to do when they would do these different drums and shit like that, bro. Like, like different sounds, bro. Different sounds meant different things. So you'll have one, and it meant something. Like you said, sound is very important. Vibration and music is like sigils and shit like that.
Yeah.
So with the ancient Africans, bro, they used to tell stories, and they understood that. They understood that. Somebody don't want me to speak. They understood that each sound was connected. It doesn't matter what you play it from, whether you play G minor on a fucking saxophone, on a drum, whatever. G minor is G minor. So as we speak on these words that we're using are combinations of sounds. Now, when they do their sounds, they are creating certain stories. They're telling certain stories. Each sound represents the sound of a different letter, sound of a different word. So while they're dancing and they're singing, like they're chanting and they're talking with the drums. So when you're listening to the drums, you're hearing a whole story. You're hearing the history of the ancestors. Everybody else thinks they're just randomly beating on shit, and they think that this and that and third sounds off key, but it's because they're not making music. They're talking.
That's crazy.
And then when they dance, each beat is a different frequency. Each sound triggers a different part of the body. So that's why if you ever pay attention to the sound of the drum and the movement of the body, it's always connected. If somebody goes, you'll watch the body. It'll be like a shoulder will go like that, or a foot will go like that, or a head will be thrown back like that. Like they're allowing the spirits to dance with them. All like the spiritual realm was a very wild place.
That's so like an oracle, right? Like an oracle.
That's exactly what oracles do. Like when an oracle does, like an Ifa oracle person, like a Babalawo, or Ianifa or Olorisha or all the different titles, Oluwo, whatever title it is in that Isheshed branch.
Yeah.
When they do this, they have to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? They got certain things that they have to do and say to invoke a certain spirit. They'll call on that spirit because they themselves, as the human being, they don't have connections to the cosmos. They can't just automatically fucking know this, that, and the third. They have to develop their mind to have a certain amount of discipline. And once their mind has a certain amount of discipline, then their spirit can go inside because they know that this person is not going to use that power for evil. So then once they mount the human being, now the human being has all the things that they need around them in order to keep the spirit at bay, to ensure that nothing goes out of whack. Because again, these are loose forces that jump and mount human bodies that have to be responsible enough to keep them inside of themselves. Once they bring this person in their body, it's like having somebody sitting beside you, telling you and coaching you through this, that, and the third. Hey, yo, this person's going through this, that, and the third, man. What do you think about that? You go, oh, okay, well, give them this symbol, write this symbol down because their situation sounds like this situation from this story and this Odu. So give them that. And then they'll give you the Odu and they'll be like, all right, so this is the Odu that was drawn, which it'll be a combination of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think it's like 14 lines, a combination of 14 lines. It'll be a combination of 14 different lines. And then these lines will come to you. And then these lines represent a specific story. These lines represent a different symbol, and each symbol represents a different story. They'll read you this whole story. And then once you hear something familiar, you'll be like, boom. Okay, boom. Here's that. All right. So then they do more consultation on that. And then it keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper. But the whole time, it's them, but it's also someone there with them. Now, people say, like, oh, man, no, it's all you. It's all you. It's all you. No, it's not. There's a group. There's a collective, bro. There's a collective of forces out there. And the reason that the Africans get so much shit is because they don't explain enough to the Americans. But the reason that they don't explain enough is because the Americans already did what they did with the little bit of shit that they was able to find out.
You're right. You're right.
They only got this much, and look what they did with that shit. So it's like,
dog. Have you heard of the Kozarov mirrors?
No, I have not. What's that?
So it's like this. It's made of foil, but they created like this. It almost looks like the golden ratio. It's like a spiral, right? And what it's supposed to do, it's supposed to enhance your psychic abilities. And it sounds like a fucking psychedelic experience because when you go inside it, you have anxiety for a little bit, you get scared. But after that, you have like this like interdimensional experience. But anyways, they would see symbols. Each person would see symbols, you know, and they saw symbols that we know. And I think majority of the symbols go back to ancient Sumerian, but they saw, you know, the eye. They saw the Eye of Horus. They saw the fucking pyramid, and they saw a bunch of occult symbols. And everyone thought that it was just them. They were tripping out and seeing their own thing. So they did a study and had everybody write down the symbols that they saw. And more than, I think, 60% of them like synced up with everyone's experience. Like it was a shared experience rather than it being, you know, an individual trip. So yeah, man, when you have like a shared experience like that and you have a religion that is very, you know, their motivation is to seek the truth, then they're going to filter that shit. They'll be like, hey, did you guys see that? Because we want to make sure, you know, everything. We know that the universal realm is abstract. So we want to make sure we have a shared experience, at least track it down and co-sign it instead of use it to manipulate. You know what I mean? And with that is like, I pass down my research to you and it's on to the next one because I can't solve this whole universal spiritual realm in one lifetime. You know what I mean? Like you have to pass it down. That's why you have kids, so you could pass down what you know to them. That's why you're here, so your parents pass down something to you. But sometimes we're not really blessed with that environment. So you kind of create a toxic, either like we were talking about masculinity or toxic femininity. You know what I mean? And just like tripping, you know what I mean? You might trip out and see something, but that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It's hard to say. And you know what I mean? But I still believe this, even if you grew up in a toxic environment and you think that your toxic lifestyle is the lifestyle to live, you also have free will to believe that. You might be limiting your worldviews, you know what I mean? But that's kind of like what I said about free will too. It can be weaponized against you if your free will is limited, or if it's not even your free will, it's someone else's free will, and you're trying to guise it as your vision. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty crazy. And I also believe that all these religions and spirituality, they're trying to track down universal law. So that's why there's certain, you know what I mean, constants in all of religion. And I feel like one thing is the succubus and having androgynous spirits, you know what I mean? And one thing I did mention was the goat. You can also probably attest to this. The demons are always depicted as having horns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Baphomet is an androgynous horn.
The goat is a very, very, very powerful animal, bro. The goat defies physics. It does all type of shit, man.
Why in our society is when someone's doing good and someone's the best, we say, "Oh, he's the goat. He's the goat." And they also said the distortion of gender is planned because you kind of want to try to be closer to Baphomet, you know. So there's a lot of occult symbolisms that we don't know. And like you said, everything's being rebranded. And the scary thing, we did talk about the Mandela effect in previous podcasts, but the Mandela effect is linked to the internet, and the internet being a database to where sometimes the information changes. When you're getting information from ancestors, you know that shit
it's consistent.
It's fucking concrete. It's consistent and it's concrete. Bro, if like I said, if you read something online and the next year, you know, human memory is very imperfect. If you read something online next year and it's different, then you're quoting something differently. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
that's
what the fuck you talking about, dog?
The issue that I have with all these researchers, bro. It doesn't make any sense, bro. Like,
yeah, man.
My shit's gonna be the same every time. Every time you ask me, my story's gonna be the same. Every time you ask me, my history is gonna be the same. Every time I ask you, you're going to have to pause and wait and go find a book from 1800s to even answer a question that I already have the answer to, but you don't want to listen because it came from some Africans who was drawn in dirt. Apparently drawn in dirt is beneath these scientific motherfuckers, bro. So whatever.
Hey man, there's science in nature, and nature existed first.
We gave birth to all that new shit. We gave birth to all that new shit that they're doing.
Yeah.
We gave birth to all that new shit that they're doing, and they're upset because we don't want to modernize ourselves. For why? Why?
But again, if you want to live that life,
we can balance that. I'm cool with balancing science and tradition, but just be like, man, fuck that. That's spookism. That's witchcraft. You're a devil worshiper. Like, nigga, you don't even believe in the devil. What are you talking about, bro? That shit confuses me, man. It hurts my feelings for real because he's a really good dude. That's my nigga, man. But it always go down like that. It always go down like that. People always say that they want to work with me, but then they show me that they don't. They actually don't want to work with me. They just want to have me as one of their most powerful followers.
Yeah, and some people need a metric next to them to measure themselves up and kind of push them too.
And that's what I feel like. I feel like that's what I was. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, that's
like
what
a Vegeta.
I just kept talking too much. I kept challenging too much. I kept saying stuff that was too controversial, and apparently I was fucking. I think I was really fucking with his mind because he told me, he was like, "Man, stop making my shit ring with all this bullshit." And I was like,
that's the thing, yeah.
I was like, bro, if I'm making you ring, if it's ringing bells, then maybe you should answer. Like if I'm troubling your mind, and you should ask yourself, why are you so troubled by what I'm saying? Because what I'm saying, I didn't disrespect you. I didn't say nothing wrong to you. I didn't call you out your name. I didn't discredit anything that you're saying. You feel me? He just disrespected me because the woman asked me a question and about tarot cards. She asked me if tarot cards were evil or not. And I was like, well, that depends on what you're doing with the cards, man, because the cards are just cards. They're just pictures. They're just pictures that just represent this, that, and the third. You don't have to use them the way that they tell you to use them. You can just buy the deck of cards, study what they mean, and just look at it, and just learn something from them. You don't have to do anything with them. They're playing. It's a game. Like it's literally used to be a game. It's a trading card game. Like it's not really that deep. It's only as deep as you make it. And if you want to use an angel to talk to them, you can use an angel to move the cards. If you want to use the devil, you can use the devil to charge the cards. if you want to call on source energy and you want to call on your higher self to fucking do whatever you want to call it, bro. You got good forces and bad forces that you can use to direct the cards or any other form of divination that you want to use. So it's up to you and what you believe that you're doing. Don't let anybody else redirect your beliefs. And then he replied with, man, some of y'all just don't know what angels and demons are. And then he went on this long ass rant, and I didn't see it until I woke up the next day. So then when I responded with, look, bro, call it what you want to call it, but at the end of the day, there's rules to this world. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter it doesn't matter what you choose to call it. It doesn't matter what you found out. It doesn't matter what route you choose to go about it. There are rules.
Facts. I believe that.
Just because you don't follow the Bible's rules, don't mean you don't have no rules. Just because
the Bible is a translation of those rules.
Exactly.
Right?
So like my thing is like this. Even if you don't believe in no forms of divinity and you think that you just this automatic, just this powerful God that can do everything by yourself, and let's say you have the credentials to at least convince somebody that that's true. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't follow your rules, you fail. If you don't follow your rules, if you don't follow the rules that you created for your path, you fail. Like this dude, he has an authority problem. He has like a Luciferian complex to where he feels like he can be just as powerful, if not more powerful than God. And then when anyone comes to him, or when the actual God moves through anyone and speaks to him and tries to tell him like, bro, you're not God, chill. You feel what I'm saying? We're all equal. You know what I'm saying? You're not up here. You can't do that. You can't place yourself up here and then try to convince everybody that they're up there with you, because then when the one actually comes, bro, y'all gonna shake every time.
Yeah. Well, shit, bro.
You can't do that. That's weird. That's Luciferian shit. That's literally what Lucifer did. That's what he did. And every time anyone comes in the name of God or in the name of the ancestors, when they come and try to talk to Lucifer, they try to talk to the devil about the old ways, he always try to redirect everybody and get everybody to pay attention to what he know, what he think. And it's not even what you know and what you think, because you're getting your thoughts from other people. You can't tell me that, oh, well, you don't need to let another spirit rule your mind. You don't need to let another man rule your mind. But what about the other men that wrote the books that are ruling your mind? It doesn't make sense, bro. Like that shit just don't make sense to me, bro. Like it just don't make sense. People say stuff like that. Sometimes I be feeling like I'm tripping, like I'm feeling like I'm wrong, but I don't feel like I'm wrong, bro. You tried to call me egotistical, and I was defending the ancestors. I was defending somebody else. I was defending the owners of this knowledge. You feel what I'm saying? And even if you don't want to call them the owners, I was defending some of the first human beings on this planet that gave birth to this form of divination and knowledge that you have.
Or the first people that cared enough about it to dive in
even try to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saluting to all the motherfuckers that died trying to figure out what spells you can and can't cast. I'm saluting all the niggas I'm saluting to all the niggas that fucking accidentally lock themselves up in different dimensions so that somebody else can travel through there safely. I'm saluting all of the spiritual the spiritual warriors who lost their life, whether it be also or whatever. But that's what I'm trying to do. And this nigga's like, man, fuck y'all. Like, what? Nigga?
Also, we're researching people that the CIA respected and wanted to work with, and after it wasn't cool anymore, they fucking threw them under the bus.
CIA, the fucking government, bro, is going into Africa where niggas is letting cows piss on their head. And the government is going in the middle of these fucking tribes and it's like, yo, I need to talk to your leader. What do you know about this star? Because something just fell from there, nigga. And they told us that Like, come on, bro. Like the government has went up in all the different type of motherfuckers, bro. They be crazy junkies that get used by the fucking government because they have some inhumane intellectual power that can only be accessed if you give them crack. So they got a crackhead in a fucking lab cracking the codes. And they like, what?
Bro. No, you're right.
Bro, people really don't understand what's going on, bro. They don't understand. They keep trying to do this. There's this picture I want to see. I don't know. I
You're a
think I showed y'all
conspiracy
this.
theorist, bro. You're a conspiracy
Yeah,
theorist.
bro. Oh
You need to
God, bro.
relax to get
Look,
some
look at
fresh
this shit.
air.
Look at this shit, bro. Hold up, bro. Hold up. This is what they try to do right here, man. I'm gonna show y'all right here. Y'all see this shit and see if y'all can see it good.
What is that? Here, let me pull.
All right, go on your phone. I mean, go on your computer and look up chaos and order meme, and you should see a picture of a pine leaf.
Okay, I got you. Here. Bam, 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 bam.
Yep. That one right there. Click that right there.
Here, hold up. Let me remove this real quick. Here we go. Fucking bigger.
Yeah. There we go. You see that? You see that? Now, if you look at this leaf, this is how I always try to explain it to people, and he be going over motherfuckers' heads, bro. If you look at the natural, maybe that could be cedar, it could be, you know, whatever, but it's like pine. It doesn't matter what it is, but just look at it. You see how its natural form, it appears compared to the one at the bottom, it appears to be out of order. It appears to be wild and bushy, right? And then you look down and you look at the chaos, and it would appear to be in order. But in order for this to have been in order, that right there, it had to have been, chaos took place to bring that order. And what people like that and entities like that, forces like that, they like to take the ugly parts of nature and then try to turn it into what they would call beautiful. They try to take the imperfections, or what they would call the imperfections of nature, and turn it into what they would call perfect, and then distract people from the original image. So, for example, it would be like if this person took a tree entirely apart and lined all the leaves together and told everybody that this is the way that things were supposed to be. But then I started taking the tree and putting it back together, and he stopped me before I could do that.
Wow. This is deep, man.
It's always that deep. And and everybody always, the first thing that a motherfucker would say to me when I say something like this, it's not that deep, bro. You're doing too much. You're thinking too much. Don't look so deep. The third eye tends to do that. Nigga, you sound like my enemy right now, because only my enemy would tell me that.
What's crazy about this is, you see, the way that the order diagram is constructed, it's sustainable to life and growth. You know what I mean? So it'll grow, and it's put together that way. So each pine gets enough nutrients, and it's spread apart. It's functional. You know what I mean?
And now none of them can receive life and nutrition. Now every single individual one of those leaves who was tricked into being plucked off of the fucking stem of life are going to slowly fucking die. And then while they're dying and while they're living their precious little individual lives, once they die, guess what's going to happen? The ones over there that are still connected to the stem of life are still going to be able to receive their nutrition. They're still going to be able to live, and they're still going to be able to take part of the world in the cycle of life that is nature.
Bro, also in the chaos, each pine next to each other, and they're competing for resources. Kind of sounds familiar. You know what I mean? Kind of sounds familiar.
Because eventually they're going to run out of life, and they're going to have to start fighting each other for that life.
And the resources are right in front of you. And look, there's only so much, so there's not that much. So
exactly.
Sure,
and they can't go back to the stem. You can't go back to the stem. You can't put the leaf back on there.
And guess what? This order branch is a small part of the bigger picture too. So deep, bro. I get you. You. One thing I will say to wrap everything up, though, is one thing that we talked about is this spirituality, religion, and all that reminds me of that Bruce Lee quote where, you know, I'm pointing at the moon, but don't fucking lose sight of the moon by paying attention to my finger. You know what I mean?
You feel me?
Some people, like I said, be pointing to the moon with a fucking 4-finger ring. You feel me? Got their nails painted and shit, and got a watch on and shit. You know what I mean? But does that add to the message, or are you distracting from the message? Because the moon's there regardless of you existing or not. You know what I mean? So, fucking shit, bro. That was a crazy episode. One thing I will ask you before we dip out, as far as music goes, we talked about animal sacrifices and stuff. And one thing, and bro, this is crazy. One person who's right now in the midst of all that is Young Thug, right? What do you think about Young Thug? I know there were some animal sacrifices going on with that. Do you think that's linked to Satanism or Satan worship? What do you think? Oh no, I think his laptop died.
No, I didn't, bro. It just froze up. I don't know what happened, bro.
The demons, bro.
I was just texting you, bro. I was just texting you. I was like, yo, this shit froze up. Look, bro. I was like, yo, what the fuck going on?
That was like the worst timing, dude. You scared me, bro.
That was crazy timing, dog. But nah, we in this bitch. We good.
Good.
All right.
Did you hear what I said about Young Thug? You know, he's caught up in all this lawsuit about, you know, gang extortion stuff. But something that was brought up on our podcast previously was this case has been going on for so long. There's a lot of headlines, you know, there's a lot of clips about people previewing songs to try to pretty much pick apart the lyrics and see if there's a case over there. But one thing that came out was like some goat sacrificing shit. Yeah. You know anything about that?
Young Thug, I can't say everything that he was affiliated with, but I know for a fact that some of his artists were affiliated with Ifa. And really? Yeah. And Ifa, they sacrifice goats and stuff like that. But that goes back into what I was saying earlier. Now, this is the thing with the sacrifice and everything like that, bro. Like when you're sacrificing these things and when you go to these traditions, the reason, like people think that when these evil people get away with the riches and the evil people get rich from sacrificing the goat, that's what they tie into being satanic. They're like, oh, well, this person sacrificed a goat to Ifa and Ifa gave him all these riches.
Okay.
That's not what happened. You came to Ifa, you asked him for riches. He gave you the riches and told you what to do with these riches. You got the riches and you forgot not only about Ifa, but you forgot about the rules. You forgot about the ancestors. You forgot about this person and that person you're supposed to look out for. You forgot about your own personal mission. And you moved away from the spirits and you moved away from the natural order. You made a contract with the spiritual realm and you failed. So now you don't get to use these riches anymore because you use them for evil. You use them for sex. You use them for murder. You use them for power. So now you have to sit in prison and now your artists have to die. Like Little Keed, I think that was Little Keed. He ended up dying.
No, did he really?
I think it was, it was either Little Keed or Little Got It. One of those two died. And
better than that, Little Keed. No, it's Little Keed.
Yeah, Little Keed died, and he followed Ifa. Like he used to wear the elekes. He used to have an Ifa ide on, like the green and brown bracelet. He used to wear that shit, bro. Like he used to be a part of Ifa. But if you look at his lifestyle, he did not live the lifestyle that Ifa promotes people to live when they come to Ifa.
Mind blown.
Like for the same reason that if a Christian prays to God and goes, "Hey God, I'll stop watching porn. I'll stop smoking weed. I'll stop this. I'll stop that if you just give me this." And then God is like, "You know what? I can hear the conviction in your heart. I'll shift the cosmos for you, son." And then he does that for you. And then you get the car and then you get the job and then you get this. And now you're 2 years down the road. And then you done forgot about God. You don't pray no more. You don't pick up the Bible no more. You don't go to church no more. And now 2 years later, everything just falls into shambles. And now you want to cry and beat up the air and cry and scream at God and hate God.
Fucking A. Universal law, baby. Universal law. That's what that is, right? Like
it's universal, my nigga. Like that shit is that's what that is. Like these people,
you didn't hold your end of the contract.
The reason that they get this shit done to them, you didn't hold your end of the fucking deal. Yeah. That's the price that you pay. The reason that people go to Jesus is because they don't got to deal with that shit. When you go to Jesus, Jesus already died. Jesus already made a sacrifice. So you ain't got to hold no accountability. You did for them. You can just do whatever the fuck you want. Jesus already died for my sins. So I'm good. I'm forgiven. Yeah. It doesn't matter what I do. And they trick themselves into this revolving circle of sin. They hold no accountability. They don't make no improvements as a person. They don't try to fix their bad habits. They just blame their bad habits on sin and the devil. And they just think that Jesus is going to save them for it when he come back. Whole time, When you get saved, you're supposed to be saved and change your character. Nigga, you don't get to be saved and still drink and think that God like that's it's not how
bro.
that fucking works.
It's like an emergency pass, you know? Like you could be in your deathbed and be like, all right, now's the time to use this trump card. You know what I mean? Get me out of fucking hell type shit.
Bro. Like you can't do that. You can't do that. This is coming from someone. I've been there, bro. Like I've done that. Like I done been there. God, it's me again, God. You know, I done been there, bro. I done seen these things. That's why I talk about it so boldly and so confidently. That's why it comes off so fresh and just so genuine, because I've been through that shit. I can talk that shit because I've been that person. I've been corrected by the natural order. I've done that. I've created my own reality off ego. I've watched it build itself up. I've watched it fall. I've made contracts. I've fucking failed my half of the contract. I've seen it. I watched shit slip right out my fucking hand and couldn't even do nothing about it because I knew exactly why it was happening. That's why when I watch people, when they be talking about all this shit be going through, I was like, man, you don't even know what you're doing. I was like, you're gonna learn though. You'll see. You'll get it. It'll be all right.
Fuck, man. Well, shit, man. That was a great ass episode. Glad to have you back on. You'll definitely be back on again, bro. We got
hell yeah, man.
It's probably like one of the longest episodes we've done. And where can people find you outside the cave, man? I got your profile locked in here from TikTok.
So my TikTok, you can find me on as Baba Aviano, and on my Instagram, you can find me as Elijah Ifashei. And I guess I should make all my profiles the same, to be honest. But yeah, that's my TikTok right there. You can find my Apple Music there. I think you can find my Instagram on there too. But don't worry. As long as you can find me on TikTok, you can find me everywhere else for sure. Because I have all my links and stuff in my bio.
Hell yeah,
and
man.
Thanks again for having me on here, man. It's always a pleasure to be able to run my mouth.
Hell yeah, bro. We go deep when we have you on. So, like I said, I think the bridge of conspiracy theorists and deep spirituality is the fact that you kind of shake grounds that are really sacred to people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like these are safe places for people that you're shaking up. And
that's
no disrespect.
I don't mean no harm, bro. I just be like,
I'm trying to figure it out too, bro. You know
exactly, bro. It's like, hey, look, I know this, you know that. What can we do together? You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't got no problem with disagreeing with people, bro. But when it gets to the point where you try to change my mind, we're not here for that.
You get disrespectful, you know. There's no reason to get disrespectful.
We ain't here to change each other's minds. We're not trying to manipulate each other, bro. We're trying to educate each other. We're trying to teach each other. We're not trying to manipulate each other or convert. We're just trying to teach. That's it. Each one teach.
Also, next week I might fucking change my mind, man. You know what I mean? So who knows? It's one of those things. It's like we're actively figuring it out. So the thing about these institutions and these governmental bodies is they put out statements and they put out studies, but they only do that because there's a deadline. You know, those motherfuckers are still trying to figure it out. You know, they just need to put out a narrative like, oh, this is the official report. So fuck, man. That wraps it up for us in the cave. If you want to talk more spirituality, music, conspiracy, go deeper down the cave and join the Discord community. Link should be on our Patreon page. You can find that on our website at cave.com. That's K4V3.com. Check out our sponsors at safelightcandle.com. And a special shout out to Chris from TikTok. Said I'd give you a shout out. Shout out for the support, man. Appreciate you. Peace out. That was a good episode, man. Also, we got a comment over here. Good episode. Boom.
Thank you, my dog. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Good shit. More power to you.
All right, man. Peace out.